Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon, so a massive shout out of thanks and appreciation to Christoph Fournier, John Travolta, JMails24, Yu Namento, M, Iron26, Endless, Flat Earth Sage, Goldie McKiernan, Retro Bill, More Books, Cannabear, Fiber Oats, Bogey, Michael Kahn, Rob H, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Will Brax, Mel B Styles, Troy Shuker, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Neo the One, Rob W, Open Minded, Reese Pound, Del West Watson, Maria Neelands, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, The Real Gabster, Abraham Mohammed, Adrian Quintana, Skeptic 936, Life is Short, Texas Mike, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I will hand over to whoever is in Discord and G+, so you can enjoy their conversation while I set up for today's live show.
Good morning, all.
What are
Hey,
you guys
good morning.
talking about in Discord?
Hey. How is everyone doing today?
Hey,
I said,
Today's a
what
good-
were you guys talking about in Discord before you came on? Sounds like a great
I missed that,
conversation.
Neil.
what's that, Neil? What are you saying about Discord?
How many times does Neil have to ask? What was the conversation in Discord before we all joined together?
Oh, I see.
Well,
We were
I got-
talking about heavy things going down and light things going up. And I was pointing out that fish, depending on the size of the fish, even though they are happy living in their habitat, once they die, the vector that they go is up, not down, regardless of the size of the fish. Yeah, it goes up.
Why?
Well, good question. Why? I mean, this nonsense
Hey,
of
why
this
even
vector
bring that
down
up?
for heavy things. I mean,
Forget about that. Gas goes up. There's clouds up in the sky. Have you not been listening?
He's not talking about gas though, is he?
You're talking about things going down and up, correct?
No, he's saying that the ballers say, or the dielectric people say, everything has this bias towards down. Well, the fish don't when they die.
Oh, I got you. When they die, I thought you were talking about swimming fish. I'm like, they swim all over the place. They swim down, they swim sideways, they swim up. You're talking about a dead fish, belly up.
All right, you guys want the context of what we were talking about? Is my
I
mic
think
on?
we got that now.
All right. My question was, I think we can be more hyper specific about when we talk about these things. I know when I talked to Nathan, like I heard him in the past, and he got what I was saying. Because my question is, you see, when they say why do things go up and why do things go down, you can say helium balloons go up, right? But my question is, why do the more dense things go down? And you can't say helium balloon goes up because that's less dense, right?
Because it's more dense than the air it's in, it displaces it.
Exactly. But why are the more dense things towards the ground or down or whatever you want to call it, and
Because
not
the
the other way
medium,
around?
No, but they're not.
Because the medium-
It depends on the medium. It's medium specific. So
Okay,
it's
okay,
relative
but
density
the medium,
relative to
but-
the medium.
right? But the medium, right?
Sure, but in water, one item might go up, whereas it might go down in air. So you'll say, why does it go towards the ground? Where's the ground? The ground could be above if you're in the water,
Okay.
right? So
Okay.
depends on the medium.
All right, but it's all arranged on the density of an object, right?
And the medium.
And dense, yeah, medium. Let's just call it medium then, right? So
well, they're two different things.
what? why is the medium have okay, the medium has varying densities, right? Why is the densest part of the medium towards one vector and the less dense things towards another vector? Is that a good
It's a
question?
malformed question. No,
Yeah, it's
it's medium
malformed.
Well,
depend. It's the relationship between the medium and the object.
all right, but why is that difference? Why is one in one direction and none and
It's
another in another
equilibrium.
direction?
But, I see where he's going wrong. The direction itself is relative. So, like you said, towards the ground, and then I clarified that towards the ground might be up in one context, but down in a different context. So, the direction itself is relative
Yeah, relative to the density, right?
to a lot of different things. But if we're talking about things in mediums moving in vectors, then you're talking about relative density. That's specific to the medium, specific to the item you're talking about in that medium.
Right. But so now it's
So,
relative to the
no.
density. And now,
So there's no universal one or the other. So what we're fighting against is a universal claim of down, right? But there isn't, because as I've just explained, it's dependent on the medium, and the direction itself is also relative. Therefore, there is no universal up, there is no universal down. It is, by definition, relative.
right. Can I jump in quick?
Go ahead.
So I agree with that. It's relative to the density, right? But now the next question is the density. Why is the densest things fighting towards a certain vector?
You
Because
just
of the medium, because of the relationship of the medium.
But
The
you've-
egg in Anthony's experimentation, when you change the medium by adding salt, found itself in the middle. He adds more salt, it's going to go all the way to the top. If he didn't, you follow?
Right, I
good,
follow, but I'm trying to figure out how
think-
there's the disconnect between.
I think what you're not trying to say, are you? What they all say is like, well, yeah, there is no downward vector. We know that, but what their argument is, well, why does it the ground? Why doesn't it just fly off to the left or fly off to the right?
It might.
That's what they're.
It might. Depends on the medium.
No, I know
How many
this is what-
times have I got to say this?
Yeah.
Yeah. When
No,
they say,
Nathan,
why doesn't it fly off? Fly.
Yeah, I know that.
So fly contextualizes it in air because it's going to be flying. Yeah. But if it's in water, right, why doesn't it fly down? Oh, well, because it's obviously going to be floating. It's a bit of cork. Oh, right. But before I put this into the mix, all of the vectors were being described as down towards the ground. You change where the ground is, put the ground above you, and change the medium, everything changes. All vectors change.
Right, but the vector for the denser things going in one direction versus the less dense things in another direction, that doesn't change.
No, that's false. Sorry. Don't say that. Asbestos is
Okay.
more dense than air. Right?
Okay,
Asbestos is more dense than air. Do you agree to that?
right.
Asbestos does not move. If in air, in a closed system, it will not fall to the ground.
All right, what if you make that air more dense underneath it?
That's the
Will it move
point.
then?
That's the point. What if you do? It will change. Yeah.
changing the medium.
So what you're saying
Right.
is, what if you put it in? What was
So-
the gas that we used to show the vacuum being filled? Bromine. What if you fill the room with bromine and then put the very dense asbestos? Well, it'll probably behave differently, right? It depends on the medium. What if you put the asbestos in water? Will it suspend in the water? Probably not. It might float to the top. It might float to the bottom. We'd have to find out. But the vector's
All right.
going to change, so there's no absolute direction. But your question's phrased around, well, why does it go in this particular direction? Well, because it's in that specific medium, and it's that dense versus the medium when you look at that specific item in that specific medium. Then you can assess the direction or vector that it's going to travel in. But it won't always be the same. You can change one of those and it will change.
It's all medium based.
Right, it is medium based. I don't disagree with that. Right, I'm just trying to see how I can bridge what I'm thinking with what you guys are thinking. Like, I don't disagree with you guys at all, but there's like something else I feel you guys are missing, or maybe I'm missing And if I am missing it, I
It,
welcome the correction.
it sounds like you're trying to ask a question that you haven't got the right words for. I think what you're trying to say is, all right, medium related and denser things, if it's in air, being the medium, will go down. Why down? That's the question you try to ask, but you don't know
Yes.
how to ask that question.
Because it's
I had
displaced the
this thing
medium.
with helium.
Because it's displaced the medium because it's more dense than it.
Right.
but
But
Which
why
is-
does the more dense things have priority over less dense things in
Right.
certain vector?
Okay. Now that's a better question. So that's something that was pondered on by some great minds in this particular arena for a very long time. Now you're asking for the cause, right? Well, when you boil down what you're asking for the cause of, you're talking about how things disperse, displace. These are entropic effects. So it actually boils down to this is not me, by the way. This is not why I can summarize. This has come from very much other smarter people than me, right? But you can't, because what you're then asking is, what is the cause of entropy? You're asking for the cause of a natural law. Now, when it came up, I was like, well, that doesn't mean you can't put it through the method. No, it doesn't mean that you can't, but it's highly unlikely that you will ever establish that basic principle of how the world works. Those things can be described, and they are, in laws, but establishing the cause of how did it get phrased? A second degree entropic effect. That's your question. So I do understand what you're asking now, and it is a question that's been pondered. It hasn't got it may have an answer in the future, but unlikely, because you're asking for the cause of an entropic effect. Second
Okay, so how do
order entropic effect.
So how do I word this next time so we don't have to go through all this rigmarole so that it's concise and clear as to what I was trying to say? How do I word this to people?
What's the cause of entropy?
That's how I word it?
Yeah, basically. That's what it boils down to.
Why does hot go to cold?
Yeah,
Isn't that
yeah.
Helio from 24/7?
Now,
He was trying to tell me that.
there are people that will. Sorry,
Yeah,
Neil, you were first. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, Helio used to battle with me because he would say if the ground wasn't there, that thing that's on the ground would keep going down.
On the ground of the ocean bed, once it detaches, once the roots loosen because the fish has nibbled them. It's right. It's just nonsense. It's totally specific in terms of what you're talking about and what medium is in.
Right, because if it was at the bottom of the sea, yeah. If it wasn't at the bottom or lowered, the things because of the medium would still mediate based on its density versus the medium's density. So
right. And what if you're looking down?
There's no way getting around it.
You've got a marble. You're looking down from up high, and you look across the ground, and it all looks pretty much the same. It's all white. And you go, I don't really know where to drop this marble. But based on what I've just stated, or whoever just said it, I don't know who that was, I'll drop the marble. It'll stop when it hits the ground. And it hits some ice, goes straight through it, and goes straight to the bottom of the next medium. So it didn't stop, did it? It's like, no, because it was easily displacing a weak bond in both it's technically not a weak bond, but the bonds of the solid medium, because it was thin, and then it displaced the weak bonds of the liquid medium beneath it and just carried on going. So it didn't stop. But then you drop a cork and it hits the ice and does stop. You know what I mean? And so it goes on. Or you drop the same marble example onto the ground. You know, a bit further over, the white looks exactly the same. You drop it, but it's solid ground beneath. It doesn't go through it. It doesn't break it. So why? Well, because it's a lot more dense. But anyway, there we go. So it doesn't hold true. It is a nuanced answer, and it is hyper-specific. And the only thing that needs to be considered, really, I don't mind pondering these things in the pre-show, because it's not something we have to make a positive claim for, which sounds a bit Weasley, because it's like, well, I've still got questions about it, though. It's like, yeah, it's a fascinating subject. Definitely ask them.
Well, some people with their rhetoric will say that they know the cause without being overt about it, which is why, some people, some people ask questions, with a conclusion in mind.
Well, with a presuppositional notion, it's not a conclusion
not
because
saying that.
It's not
sorry?
that they've got a presuppositional conclusion. It's that they have got an effect that isn't in existence that they're going to describe the conclusion for. So in this case, what I'm saying is, no, it's perfectly reasonable to ponder the effects that we observe and describe with natural law. But it's a different matter when you start asking a question about why things go down. So some things don't go down. Depends on the medium, depends on the density, depends on the density of the item you're talking about. Depends where it started. Was it at the bottom of the medium? It all depends, right? It's very much medium specific. That's why we call it relative density. So when you've got an idea of why would that happen? What's the start? What's the beginning? Yeah, okay, well, you're asking about entropy. Again, nothing wrong with that. But not if you've got a presupposition that in that description, things go down at 9.8 meters per second, because they don't. They do in certain circumstances, in air, but that isn't something that's a universal application in real world. And they, the people who claim that it is, are giving you an answer for why that, the 9.8 meters per second that doesn't occur always, would occur. And then they give you an explanation for it. But if it isn't occurring always, it's not a natural phenomena that you need to explain.
Yeah, that's the thing. Even without the 9.8 meters per second, or per second, whatever it is, even without that, when someone says, so what's the cause of things going down? And that's the statement. Even still, they have the presupposition that things go down because you're asking as if things. It's again like Nathan just said. Well, it depends. It's medium specific. It's not that things go down. Like things do go down in a medium that is heavier than. But as far as I know, no one knows the cause of that. So.
I have an objection to this line of questioning. Not necessarily.
I was trying to get there, but I couldn't.
Not the ones you said.
Yeah, I couldn't get there. So there's an objection that I just couldn't make clear.
Hold on, Eli.
Go ahead.
Hold on. Go ahead, John.
Why are we talking about a phenomenon that does not exist?
Precisely. Exactly. Why are we talking about this, or trying to come up with an explanation for it, or trying to define it in any way, shape, or form? They have a positive claim, but their positive claim starts with the phenomena that doesn't exist. So that's all that matters. Again, like I say, in the pre-show now, yeah, we'll discuss the ponderances that we've had over these things. But when you put on the spot, well, what's your explanation for it? For what? Things going down? I'll just let out a helium balloon and just laugh at you. Is that going down? Look at the clouds and ask you if they're going down. And when you tell me, no, the gas around them's being pulled down. Oh, I see. So the gas around the clouds is falling at 9.8 meters per second when it's produced at ground level and disperses upwards. Definitely not. You're a clown. That's what I'd say. As opposed to, in that scenario, no offence to you, Righteous, pondering what might be the cause of relative displacement in a various medium-specific inquiry about something that you've dropped or released from the bottom of an ocean. Because it's not always going to be doing the same thing.
Yeah, but they avoided the air question. That's why the question was put to me as heavy things going down. So I brought forward the fish, regardless of its size, could be a whale. Once it dies, it goes up.
Yeah, there is an up and down. I mean,
Hello.
And
it's relative.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Arwin. But the guys just said no. There is
okay.
an objective, up and down. No, it's relative.
Yeah, absolutely relative. Yeah.
Things that move, things that float, that move laterally, or any horizontal direction. Like that. That's also something that's totally forgotten about.
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Now, we are joined by Eli, Refracted Curvature, Neil, Righteous Force, Arwin, 10th Man, and a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome one and all.
What is Ether?
Hey, hello everybody.
Hey, it's good to be here. Hello, on deck.
Good morning.
Good morning. It is a good morning.
Good morning.
Afternoon for me.
I came to chew bubblegum and crap on the globe. I'm all out of bubblegum.
Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere-edge horizon, formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
No.
Yeah.
Did you bring your
Nah,
Did you bring your bazooka?
The horizon is it's not a physical location. It's an apparent location.
Yeah, the horizon's not Earth curve.
Apparent? What do you mean apparent? I heard on the show the other
Meaning
day
we can see it.
that the sky touches the water.
No, the sky doesn't touch the
Well,
water. Apparent means
the
looks like,
horizon-
appears, but not
the-
actual. So
the
it
horizon-
appears
The horizon
like
is
it appears like the sky touches the ground at the horizon. That's its definition. But it's the apparent
What the guy
position where the sky meets the ground, because it doesn't actually. Appearing but not actually. That's what apparent means.
So he got it wrong then, the gentleman that said it actually touches the water?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I heard David Weiss say that it literally touches the water.
Oh, right, yeah, Dave Weiss said it literally touches the water. No, it doesn't literally touch the water. No.
He
The-
knows
the
it
apparent-
doesn't
apparent
literally touch
horizon.
the water. Come on.
Oh,
Jeez.
why are you always defending him, Eli? Come on, you're on our team.
Because
Stop
it's
it.
ridiculous to think that come on, like, this is the kind of weak shit I don't like. Like, there's much better ways to
Don't
like,
bounce. That's what he said, Eli. If you don't like it, bounce.
That's what he
I'm gonna hold him
said.
to it.
That's not what he. Okay, so when
Oh,
a
you're
flatter,
gonna
when a
be
globe-
like Winston now
Eli and
start interpreting?
Neil, you gotta let him put forth his rebuttal, do his little PR bit for Dave. Just let him.
when a globe earther holds you to some words that you said in jest, but everyone knows is obviously ridiculous, like, I don't know, they do to me every day. Like, my name is literally Elijah 3 Sons in a Discord. That's the dumb shit that I don't like. Not from anyone.
What do they
Neil.
call
I
you?
don't care who it is.
Elijah what?
Eli, he said it literally
Hold
touches
on. What do
the
they call you?
freaking water.
Hold on. What do they call you?
Elijah 3 Sons. And let me give context.
I didn't hear it.
Because
I didn't hear it though.
Elijah 3 Sons.
3 sons.
Should have been 3 teams.
Okay, let me
Yeah.
give context. Go ahead, Eli.
Because I took an observation of the sun, and when you invert the image, it looks exactly like Thra's 3 Sons, Thra from the Dark Crystal. The reason I brought it up was to say most people that are in entertainment take their imagery from reality. Perhaps they've captured a picture of the sun like this, inverted it, and got the idea from that. That's what I said.
Okay, seems reasonable.
No, that's
So-
not, obviously, that's not parallel to what Dave said, because Dave said it literally touches but he didn't mean, I know for a fact he didn't mean that.
Okay.
Like, because of the-
No, nobody else. Neil's the one with the objection here. Let Neil respond to him. Go ahead, Neil.
He said it literally touches the sky. Don't start being like Whitsitt and start explaining what they meant.
No, it's different. It's different when you're explaining someone's intent and then when obviously someone said something that the words are just not good. It's just two different things.
Yeah, that's the problem though, Eli. Okay, the reason Neil's jumped on it, and Neil hasn't given it enough context, you're right, but he's doing it because I did it. But when I did it, I was pointing out that they were failing to debunk the positive claim, the primary positive claim from the globe side, that we have a geometric limitation called the horizon, aka Earth curve. But Dave wasn't doing that. He wasn't being hyper-specific. He's being wishy-washy and incorrect in his descriptions of the sky actually touching the ground, the clouds actually touching the sea. Well, that's incorrect on many different levels. Obviously, now I've contextualized it a little bit further for Neil. You can understand that we're saying you need to tie down what the opponent's claim is. He's pointing at a horizon. You say it's a physical Earth curve getting in the way of stuff. Right. Now we've tied down what this is, the horizon, claimed to be Earth curve. We can debunk it. That's what we do here. What we don't do is say, there's clouds touch the water. No, we're hyper-specific about what we debunk. That's the horizon claim to be Earth curve. We debunked it in 2020. Right. Dave says the clouds touch the water. There's a stark contrasting difference there.
Yeah, and the whole point, Neil, that I'm trying to make, because you got to get out of your feelings. You don't be hearing
Eli,
what
you
I'm
got to
saying.
get out of your feelings.
Oh, weak sauce from Eli. Eli, hold on. You can't just tell him not to appeal to his feelings. Neil, I'm siding with you. Look, that was weak. Come on, Eli.
No, it's not. I'm about to justify what I said, if I'm not interrupted, of course.
You're wishy-washy with your feelings.
No,
Eli.
Neil, he's going to back it up. I've challenged him. Neil, chill. Just let him back up what he's going to say. He's not going to appeal to your feelings and your emotions. We'll see. Let's see. Go ahead, Eli.
It's constructive criticism, because what you just said, there's not a part of it anyone can clip and say, look at how disingenuous they're being. You think that they can't say anything to what you said. It'll just be left unread. The message unread. They won't. They can't respond.
Okay. We get you. Neil, you needed to give more context.
No. Almost. Versus Neil just saying he said that the water literally touches the sky. Now, if Dave wanted to, he could clip that out and say, look at how disingenuous they are. Do they really think that I think the water literally touches the sky?
That's what he
ridiculous.
Said, though. But that is what he said. That's what he said. Eli, don't be unreasonable. That is actually what he said. That was a verbatim quote that Neil gave. So you're saying, even though he said...
is saying, does he think?
I'm nearly there. Even though he literally said it literally touches, you're saying he didn't mean literally. That's what you're saying.
Well, because if you watch any of his interviews, any of his fans, listen, I'm all for winning his fans. We won't be watching Dave twice. I'm for winning his fans that don't watch us yet, but may come across our content and criticisms of him. I want to win them fair and square. Okay? So if they hear anything like that and they're like, oh my God, I watched Dave's show, of course he didn't mean, they're going to say the same thing I said.
No, they won't. Hold on.
Really?
No. Let me just cover that. No, they won't, because we covered it in context with lots of stuff surrounding it. And in all of it, contextually, he got it all wrong. He didn't debunk Earth curve. He couldn't even clarify what Earth curve was. He had to clarify it with the opponent 4 times. So definitely not. They wouldn't go back. Hold on, Eli. They wouldn't go back, look at it in context and go, obviously he didn't mean that. Yeah, it's hard to say that because that's what he said, and everything else he was trying to do was incorrect, wrong, and wasn't addressing the point. He had to clarify what the horizon was according to his opponent 3 or 4 times. So definitely, they're not going to get that from going and getting some more context from watching it. In context, they'd say what I said, that this is shite. What a terrible, poor job Dave's doing of debunking Earth curve. That's what I did say, Eli. Neil's just parroting it.
But when I said interview, I was talking about his audience. I wasn't talking about somebody who's watching. They'll say, "Oh my God, Dave Weiss knows that the water doesn't touch the sky." These
Hold on,
FED guys are just being. So all I'm saying is, with what you said, it can't be critiqued. With
Yeah,
what
yes,
he
it can.
said by itself, listen, what he said by itself, not that it could be critiqued, it could be wormed into this. Oh, Neil and the FED guys said this. Oh my God.
Okay,
But they
we've got
can't
that.
do
We've had
that
it three
with what
times.
he
I get
said
it. I get it.
70 times.
Okay, I'll address it to Neil.
Why? They
Neil
should
can
go
respond.
Right back and listen to Dave.
Neil,
They should go right back and listen to it.
Turn it into a shit show. Thank you so much. Neil, that means I'm going to address you. Yeah, Neil, he's just saying, could you give more context next time rather than just drop it out in the open and bomb it into the conversation, because people can just trim it out and go, look, even if he's wrong, Eli is wrong, you couldn't go back and get contextually a different story. But on surface level, Eli's right. Without even going back and looking at it, you'd look at it and go, oh, well, clearly it doesn't mean that. So on that score, Eli's right.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, no, hold on. There's an objection to it because most people in the Western world, when they think of flat earthers, they do believe that we think the sky touches the friggin' ground, Eli. I've heard him say it. And when he literally said it, with the word literal in it, that's a problem.
Eli?
Bingo.
Neil, shh. Go ahead, Eli.
No, whatever. Good morning, buddy.
Fair enough.
Hey, listen, debate how you want. I don't give a shit. It's not my name.
No, hold on. Doesn't the sky touch the ground? I mean,
This
what
is a
else
different
is the
issue,
ground
right?
touching? Is it air?
What's happening, right? I'm not being horrible to Eli. Eli doesn't like what's happening. Am I right, Eli?
I'm annoyed by it. That's all.
Okay.
Because it's not like I'm dumping on Neil. I tried to say, hey, well, obviously, in the realm that we deal with here in this debate, if you don't put proper context, these guys have a larger audience, and I'm not just talking about Dave Weiss. I'm talking about the larger dumb world. Okay, they will do anything to take apart what we do if we're not careful, like the Elijah Three Sons thing. Okay, all I'm saying is just what you said. Give context. It doesn't. We know he's wrong. Come on, Sam.
Right. I agree with Eli.
That annoys. Can I answer, please? That annoys you, Eli? You know what annoys me, Eli? What I heard the other day.
No, stop. No, stop. Don't want to hear it. Right. Eli, you're right. And as for the rest of the panel, we have got to listen to this stuff more. As much as it might grind your gears and you might not want to hear it and you know you've got a justification for it, doesn't matter that we've got a justification for it. And Eli's great because he's one of us, right? He's on the panel. He's one of our own. So we can listen to him easier than the guy yesterday who came in. Who's like, well, yeah, but you just sound really angry. Well, it doesn't matter that he isn't appreciating the wider context of my anger. That doesn't matter. If at surface level he comes in and goes, yeah, but to me you just seem angry. I'm a Christian and it just seems like you're being really angry about it and I don't like that. It's like, that's perfectly true and valid and I have to accept that. Even if I can justify it after the fact, it doesn't matter. Do you see where I'm going?
He never claimed to be Christian.
Let's
Hold
just
on.
stick our faces out and
Hold on.
let everybody punch us. All right? Let's just stick our faces out and let everybody swing. Go ahead.
Hang on.
He didn't claim to be Christian. He just quoted the Bible. It's not the point I'm making. My point is, take on board the stuff that people say. That's all I'm saying.
Nathan.
Someone who wasn't a Christian, Pence. He came in and started reprimanding Nathan on his behavior towards the video.
Oh gosh. Okay, just please stop. I wasn't even there. I haven't listened to it, but I already know how to answer it. Think about that. Because all you got to do is read the Bible. Be angry and sin not. You can be angry without sinning, Christians.
Exactly.
All right. Good.
Exactly. And we brought up how Jesus drove them out of the temple. Maybe after we brought it up, John brought it up, but still.
And I want to say something quick about BK from yesterday. I had a chat with him yesterday in the voice verify section, and he was sincere with me, and we had a chat about his performance, and he kind of felt bad about how he behaved. So I just
he shouldn't.
point that out there.
No. What I'm praising him. What are you talking about? No.
Okay.
If that's how you feel after the fact, mate, don't. You had every right to state those opinions. Now, we did justify why we felt the way we did and how I was behaving the way I was. And I felt justified, obviously, in my explanation. What I'm saying now is it doesn't matter how good my explanation is. Your feelings in this regard are true whether I like them or not. If that's how you felt about it,
Nathan?
I want to know about it,
Nathan,
and I will listen.
Nathan, I've been on your show. You know I'm a Christian. I'm going to ask you a direct question, and then I'm going to explain why I'm doing it. Do you claim to be a Christian, Nathan?
There's been various points in my life that I've claimed to be a Christian. Right now, I'd say no.
Okay, so why am I going to hold you to what God holds me to when you're not even a Christian right now? So the point, so the point is, if I may finish, I don't know why I'm having feedback for whatever reason. The point is, we don't regulate righteousness on people. God convicts the heart of a sinner like me. And I got convicted to where I repented and asked for forgiveness and became a Christian. And that was at age 14 and a half, and I'm 63. Now, if someone is not a Christian, like a lot of my friends aren't, I don't expect them to have a changed heart, to have the same conscience that's as sensitive as mine. I don't expect that until they go through that process that God does to sinners. So they know that, and many times they'll say, hey, I'm sorry I cursed, or, I'm sorry. I go, look, the state you're in, you can't help yourself. You need a changed heart to be different. And I'm praying for your salvation, but that's between you and God. So again, you can't go around pushing this stuff on people, but you could be a good witness.
Well, there's another thing too. The gentleman who came in yesterday attempted to grab a moral high ground over Nathan and say that through an attack on his behavior with that moral high ground, that Nathan was somehow wrong. And then he appealed to Christians, not necessarily claiming that he was Christian himself.
Well,
so the whole thing was really annoying. Is the only way I can describe it.
Again, I haven't listened to it, but I've told Nathan many times, if he does a more PG type of show, he'll gain more audience. I'm doing it for his favor so that this show and the content that this show can grow.
Right, so that guy did that. He said exactly that, and we said, prove it. Where's your statistics to prove it? I'm not doing that to you now, but only because he was being antagonistic. Huey just pulled him apart on something. And therefore it's like, okay, well, you're coming in all high and righteous. You're claiming X in this case. You'll gain more audience if you're more civil. And it's like, okay, where's your stats to show that's the case then? But
no, I'll prove it.
I'm sure you
I
could.
share your...
I know. It's not my point. I've immediately referenced it to you because I don't need you to prove it for the point to be valid. I know you could if you were needed to. You don't tend to say things off the spot that you haven't validated or haven't got a justification for at least saying. In this case, he didn't.
I know, but what I'm going to say is pertinent.
I could give a talk about any of this. I'm still mad at Neil.
Yeah, get in the queue.
I do think we should talk about Neil's behavior. Let's talk about Neil's behavior.
I agree. We should focus on that one specific panel member.
And he can't interrupt a single time.
I'm not focusing on Neil's behavior. Neil basically just said when Nathan said I'm a part of the panel, he's like, sure, I don't know. Like, damn, I'm one of the best debaters we got. Are you crazy?
What's going on? You saying that Neil's challenging your prowess of...
Nobody questions debating skills. I question.
Okay, so what are you questioning?
It's just sometimes I don't feel like you're with us with the way you defend others.
I'm not at war. I'm not with you there. I'm telling you it in your face. I'm not at war. I don't give a fuck about what y'all get mad about. I'm only here for the information.
Eli. Then go piss off.
I no need both of you.
No.
What in the hell did I just walk in?
You're telling him he's not here for us. What are you talking about, Neil?
What I'm saying.
Yeah,
like, I'm not here for war. Like I'm never here for war. Like I'm not here for that.
Maybe that's
you want to see me and listen. I decapitate heads more and faster than most. Okay, faster. Chocolate, am I lying?
We know it's true. I've seen you. You don't need to.
Shit to do.
No, not at all.
You don't need to seek accreditation. I know it's true. The panel knows it's true, Eli. But carry on. Make your point.
My kumbaya, that's what you think it is, has nothing to do with my ability to call a liar. I just do it in a more effective way than some of you. Okay? So stop critiquing it. and stop talking when I want to give somebody a leg up. Just mind your business.
I'll do as I please. If I want to say that against them, I will.
You're not hearing him,
They ain't
Neil.
got no numbers
I
for
don't
you.
stop you from
Both of you
saying,
stop.
I don't
Both,
stop
please,
you, though,
please,
do I?
please,
I
both of
don't-
you. Stop 1 second.
Stop
Just one
talking
sec.
to
Just
you,
one sec.
Neil.
Stop. Neil, when he's talking about giving a leg up, he's talking about you, right? His critique is done out of kindness, right? And you've reacted badly to it. He's just saying, right? Imagine for a moment, I'm going to use Eli's example with you, right? If there's trimmed out clips and you getting called, what was the example we were just talking about? Neil's
Can you move on
actual.
with housekeeping,
Neil, I'm
please?
nearly there. Neil, the
Neil.
actual Horizon man, right? Because they've taken you saying Dave Weiss said it was actually touching, without any context around it, and they trim that out and slap it on you as a badge that they bully you with, right? What Eli's saying is, if you can contextualize it just a little bit more than you have, there's a better chance that you won't have something branded on you incorrectly just because it can be used in that way. Doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean you were wrong. It means that's the arena we're in. Like, yeah, I know it's not fair for them to chuck sand in your eyes, Neil, but if you're right down the ground and their foot's near your face, they're going to kick that sand right in your face, mate. It's just the way it is. And he's trying to help you out, but you've reacted badly. So now he's getting pissed at you. I don't blame him. He's trying to help.
Fine. Housekeeping. What's next?
That's indignation rather than
I just
rather
know
than
who's
gratitude.
who. That's all.
We still need 25 minutes more to go to deal with you, Neil.
No,
Don't
see,
interrupt
I was gonna
anybody.
let the
Hey, why are you all jumping on Neil?
I was gonna. I didn't even mind. He doesn't have to say sorry. I know Neil's heart. Okay, I know we're gonna be cool later. It's no big deal. But when you say words like "I know who's who," come and meet me on East 10th and motherfucking University. Like,
Come
what are
on.
you talking
what are you
about?
gonna
What's
do,
going
Danny?
on? Why are you all
What
slapping your
Oh my
chests?
God.
Oh my
Tell you
God.
who I am. We live in New
You're gonna
York.
go have some
I'ma tell
coffee. You're
you.
gonna have some
I'm
tea.
gonna-
Right,
on,
let's
learn who
solve
you-
this
learn
like
who
men.
You're confused.
Right, we're
Neil,
all going to get our
you're
penises out. We're going to
grumpy
flop them on the
today. You need to
table.
take
We're going to
it
see which
easy
one's
and Take a
biggest.
step back.
Can we stop
Nathan,
this?
Flatsoid
I'm
wants
just
you
gonna
to.
drop. Go ahead. You
Nathan,
go on. I will leave the show. Okay?
hang on, Nathan.
Take
No
it
problem.
easy, Neil. Take it easy.
Nate,
Have a good
please.
day. Take it easy.
Go ahead,
Hold
Tom.
on, please. Nathan, Flatsoid would like you to announce that he's going to have Adam Meakin and Brian's Logic tonight on his show.
We interrupt this blazing row for a plug for Flatsoid. Be Here or Be Sphere on the Flatsoid channel. He's going to be interviewing Adam Meakin and
Brian's Logic.
Brian's Logic. Wow, a double duo of the best. Fantastic. Be Here or Be Sphere on the Flatsoid channel. YouTube only. Well, that might not be the case.
Hold on a minute. When I said that about attacking Neil for the next 30 minutes, I was only joking, guys.
We're not
Yeah, but
attacking
it's
Neil.
Neil now, so we got 25 more minutes to go.
I just tried to
You're
repackage
doing
what's
Friday
happened.
feelings.
Not feelings, into a productive education for Neil in terms of what Eli perceives as something that he even gave an example of it. It's like, here's how I get branded with that kind of crap. If you don't contextualize stuff well enough, they'll just use it against you. That's all he's trying to do. He's trying to help.
Right. And with Dave, they will use that against him when the ballers cut it out and show it to the Western world who hear about flat Earth. They're going to hear a flat earther saying that the sky actually touches the ground. So, yeah,
Yeah, perhaps.
it works both ways.
Yeah,
So let's not just point to Neil without pointing to the other one.
That's true.
Yeah, but Dave is the one that we're trying to correct anyway. So that's a no duh. But now here we have Neil who's here listening to our corrections and why. And I'm like, well, hello, Neil, because specifically Neil was there when you remember that whole video situation that was going on when somebody pulled up this conversation that you had with Anthony out of context, and that was just like a whole nothing.
Perfect proof.
Like
Perfect globe proof.
It was unnecessary.
Yeah, right. The lighthouse. Perfect globe proof.
Right. But now, for someone to point out, right, that you saying perfect globe proof was probably a bad move or whatever, in the moment, if you did it in public, this is different because you didn't do this in public. This is you joking around with your friends, but so it doesn't really match up. But anyway, but for someone to point out, man, you shouldn't have said that way. Why would we jump on that person?
You know what, guys? Eli, let me come in to help a little bit. I had to leave that day on that show, but yesterday I came and listened to the show. I only got half an hour more to finish. It's like a 5-hour show. We're missing the bigger point. The bigger point is if that side, Dave and Jaron and them, would have just used the killer arguments to destroy the globe, it would have never gotten there. It would have been done right away. And that is what we're trying to say is, why are you playing around with your globe buddies when you can do the right thing and show them that we don't live on a globe? There is no R, there is no radius for you to even have anything related to globe proof. First, you got to prove we're on the globe. And they started everything they did in that. Man, why is there feedback here? Someone please close your mic.
It's something with you, because
So-
you're crackling and stuff as well.
All right. My point is, and I'll make it quick then, is that if they say this is how it works on the globe, or this is what happens on the globe, you say, great, I don't have a problem with that. Can you first prove the globe? No, we can't do that. Okay, then goodbye. See, they couldn't kill the globe, but we kill the globe every day.
Yeah, the wider context. But again, that is Eli's point, that if you don't give the wider context, people will take and trim your clip to, in John's example, just denounce flat earthers who think that the sky and ground actually touch. Or, in the case of Neil, well, ridicule somebody who's been ridiculing us. And it just seems like a bit vengeful because it hasn't been given enough context.
All right, but let me give a rebuttal to that. Arwen came and said, part of the sky does touch the ground. The air molecules that are real close to the ocean at the distance are right there at that meeting point. So you can do that if you want, but that's silly. That's not what we're talking. We're talking about perspective. Let me finish. We're talking about perspective. Again, you don't have to go there. You don't have to go to these weak situations that you put yourself in. If you just say, I'll accept everything about your globe, but first you got to prove we're on the globe. It ends right there.
Yeah, I guess your point is to you just want to place it back on the main thing, which is why aren't you using killer arguments? We get it. So if I respond in any way other than what I just said, you're going to say, no, my point is, and I don't want to do that. I was critiquing one of our members for just like there's a better way to argue. Like you don't have to latch on to low hanging fruit. I wouldn't. It ain't even a low hanging fruit.
No, it
Like,
is. No, it is. Out of context, it becomes low hanging fruit, doesn't it?
So that's all I'm saying, and that's important, and it's important not to miss.
No, Eli, I'm not. I think you are very good at what you do, and what you said is I agree with. But at the same time, Neil shouldn't say then you're not a panel member or something like I don't know, something to that effect. He said, no, we're all panel members. We all have our style. You just
He's calling me an agent in no uncertain terms.
Well, he's just emotional right now, but he doesn't mean it either. Just like you're saying, Dave doesn't mean it. You follow what I'm saying? So the whole point is, it doesn't have to get to this point.
Okay, I'm going to put a different spin on this for Eli, which is that's actually quite useful. So often in the pre-show, we'll have a long discussion, very nuanced, very specific, and then we'll start live show. I'll ask the first housekeeping question, and Neil will throw out a question or a statement that has nowhere near enough context around it. Now, everyone around him, I will say, it's an in-joke or words to that effect, will know what he means. But that gives me an opportunity to contextualise what Neil's just said, to expand it out for the live audience who have no reference because they haven't seen the pre-show at that point. So from my perspective, Neil doing that, this is a case in point. We've done this for 10, 15 minutes. We've educated people on the context, trimming things out, having people use it against you, the debate discussion itself in terms of the horizon, the question in terms of why people on our own side aren't using arguments to actually debunk the claims that have come from the globe. All of this off the back of Neil, right? I'm not even joking. You can rewind and check how this has happened. For me, that's a godsend. That's why he's here.
Right. I'm not going to argue against the low-hanging fruit claim, but I will say in context, they were arguing about whether the sun goes behind the horizon and if the clouds literally touch the sea. Okay. So that's the context. Don't get it twisted. Like if you're a fan of Dave and you watch him all the time, maybe you could make that argument. But for everyone else, the normal people that are just interested and tuned in, or the anti-flat earthers, or the globies who are looking into the subject, when they hear that, Neil is just pointing out that is a laughable claim to make.
Indeed. I mean, it's good. It's been cathartic for me, if that's the right word, because I've managed to vindicate myself from the claims that have been made and justify the reasoning in a more reasonable way, which is to say projection. You know, when you don't really know what science actually is, and your brothers in arms are getting hammered by somebody who knows what science is, what can you do? Well, just claim they're a scammer and say they don't know what science is. Okay, very frustrating, until you get to a point where a guy who says he's a scientist starts making a string of globe claims with science peppered in and out all over the place. At that point, Jaron's got one opportunity, basically, to justify his claims that I didn't know what I was talking about when it came to science. Here's me hammering a scientist, based on my science knowledge. Did he? Did he, hell? I did. Yeah, well, Jaron was sat there not doing it. I critiqued every last word of Jaron's useless shite when it came to science, his failure and inability to debunk anything that the man of science said, if he even is one. We don't know if they verified that. In any event, that's what we do. Now, I've trimmed that out. That's come from a couple of 5-hour shows that we've done on this subject, and it's been very enjoyable for me. I've got a lot off my chest. Annoyance, in the most part, for being called a scammer because I know what science is. But if you remember, you can check that out. So I've put it as something like Flat Earth Scammers versus Globe Science. But as I say, that's their opportunity, or Jaron's opportunity, given that he's claiming I'm a scammer, specifically for how I don't know what science is. The expectation, when science is laid down as a claim, is that Jaron would be capable of taking that apart, and I would not. On the contrary, Jaron is a useless shit and hasn't got the slightest idea what science is, and I can demonstrate that admirably by the ass-whooping he got from a man claiming science, and me taking apart his claims where Jaron did not. There is no scamming going on when it comes to science at Flat Earth Debate. Just lies, deceit, scumbag behaviour from a shit called Jaron, who is a scammer, definitely doesn't know what he's talking about, but just pretends to know. So check that out. It's on a members-only video. It'll come out on probably on Saturday or Sunday if you're not a member. And the full video will come out on Monday because it was yesterday's after show. So second channel, check it out. Be Here or Be Sphere. If you're not already subscribed to Nathan Oakley channel, you can see that full. It's actually a part B, if you like, because we go through the Whitsitt, Hibbler, Dave Weiss, and Jaron debate with a guy called Bryant, who's claiming to be a scientist. And the first half was done on the show that came out yesterday on my second channel, so go and check that out if you haven't already. But the second part of it, because it was a Thursday after show, will come out for the public on Monday at 9 PM on my second channel. So subscribe today. There's links in the info box below the video. What are we, half an hour in? Let's do a bit more housekeeping.
Well, hang on. Okay, you go first, whoever that is.
Eli,
Just wanted to plug Hibbler. Yeah, just wanted to plug Hibbler. So I don't know who you are, fam, and I've never seen you debate. Not going to call you a debater, but you do good production, and you just did a new production. I want everybody to go and check that out. Over, you can find it on Odyssey. You can find it on Rockfin. Just look him up. It's not on YouTube because they censored it the moment he put up a.
Oh, then you can't plug it here. You can't plug it here. That's literally against community guidelines. You can't suggest that people go from here to another website. You just can't do that. It's against the YouTube community guidelines. Okay. So yeah.
All right. Well, go to his YouTube and figure it out.
Exactly. Right. Go to his YouTube. That's fine. Hibbler, is he called Hibbler?
Yeah.
Hibbler. Hold on. I want to plug in properly. If we're going to properly plug in, let's do it. Hibbler YouTube channel. Subscribe today. Check it out. Apparently he does good. I've not seen him. Sorry, you're going to have to carry on this plug.
Yeah. Anyway, it's about the proceedings of the last couple years. It's good stuff. A lot of clips from the past that we tend to forget, and it's good to be montaged and there in your face for you to remember. So anyway, good on you for that stuff, man. Not a fan of the debate, but you know, it is what it is.
All right. I hate to disagree with my good friend Eli. Here's why. Many people leave a cult only to fall into another cult. Then they figure out that was a cult. Then they leave that cult only to fall into another cult. Eventually, at the end, they realize, my goodness, there's so many things trying to keep the truth from me that once I realized this was wrong, I went to another one and then realized once I was into that on the surface, they got me in because it was better than the one I was in. But then I found out things. So I had to leave that and on and on. I could give you examples, but for the sake of time, let me express what I'm trying to say. We are talking about a great deception here. And we have people saying that they represent the same viewpoint that we do, which is the Earth is not a sphere with a radius of 3959. Yet they do a very terrible job at debating the subject matter because they fall into the trap of begging the question. And people are going to be following for years before they realize, you mean I could have killed the argument right away? And you've been stringing me along, and I've been in arguments with family members, always in the begging the question traps. I just tuned into Flat Earth Debate, and in one show, I know how to be a victor in this argument.
Not in this show.
Why
We've got one housekeeping question done so far. We're at 40 minutes.
Well, you know what I'm trying to express
I know what
here.
you mean.
Do we know what you're trying to express? I mean, really, who are you?
Oh,
Who are you?
I haven't.
Sorry.
Look, they said Nathan was a scammer. Then they decided they were going to put on a debate show to show how good they were at debating. Then, as I watched yesterday for the first time, Nathan playing their bits, pausing, and giving a narrative of what a real debate was like. Classic. I go back to my double down statement. Nathan, that was the best thing they ever did to you. Best thing. You're going to grow like a weed.
Well, like I say, I feel after doing those couple of clips, they're only a couple of 15-minute clips. You don't have to sit through a full 2 5-hour shows, 10 hours or whatever it is of material. But those couple of clips is enough for me to feel vindicated. Here's a man claiming I'm a scammer because I don't know what science is. Here's him presented with science. Here's him doing an absolutely appalling job of debunking anything that's claimed. And here's the debunk for everything that's claimed from me, the man claimed to be a science scammer by Jaron. So at that point, you're like, unless you're completely retarded, you're going to look at that and go, oh, right, so Jaron was just bullshitting, lying, just being a complete scumbag. So he's literally threatened your career, challenged the livelihood of your kids and you and everyone in your family because he didn't know what science was. And he decided to project that shit out to a wide audience. Well, that's a very nasty thing to do. What a wanker. Maybe I'll unsubscribe from this piece of shit who's deciding that he's going to ruin other people's YouTube careers based on the fact he doesn't understand what he's talking about. So to hide his ignorance, he's decided to affect my income. That's all this is. Jaron doesn't have the slightest idea what science is. He wouldn't know science if it slapped him in the face. But because he doesn't know what science is, he's going to call me a science scammer. That's all this is. And I can prove it. Video comes out over the weekend. Check it out. Jaron gets presented with science, and he doesn't debunk any of it. He doesn't know how to. We do. I am not a science scammer. I do know what science is. I do use it to destroy, shockingly, people like Whitsitt as well, and Bob Nodell. Another contributing factor, let's call it, for why Jaron needs to call me a scammer when I talk about science. I'm not. He is. I can prove it. I don't just do a wiki scroll and say, look, a load of pseudoscience pretender clowns say science doesn't prove anything. Therefore, Nathan's a scammer. Yeah, that was shite, wasn't it, Jaron? That got you laughed at by a lot of people who have now confirmed to me after the fact they didn't want to be subscribed to you anyway because that's how you are. So this isn't coming to a shock as a shock to any of my audience, it seems. However, I still have influence over them. And given that the sting that was initially there from you claiming I'm a scammer to your wider audience has now faded off, I have direct influence with proof of what a scammy little shit you are. So I'll just show that to people, because that's what you are. You merely projected your own ineptitude onto me. Let's do some housekeeping. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Man, when I want a dog pile, I can. See what I'm saying?
I was going to give a mathematical formula for using radians to calculate the amount the Earth should turn underneath an object at the equator.
Quick shout out to Godzilla. It says, this is the grassroots FE movement. The others are the $100 at the door crypto coin ether entertainment network. Well put, Godzilla. Far more concise and understandable than usual. No offense.
That thing.
That was like, ching. Yeah, okay, well, brutal.
Oh, God. Godzilla. What's up, bro?
I love it. Thank you for the super chat. And yes, in many ways, I agree with you. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know how they scrounge for money. And that's not something I'm really going to have much grounds to moan about, given that I scrounge for money daily on every show. So, you know, that's not something I'm necessarily going to use as a front of attack. But by the same token, you know, when you're scamming, you're scamming. And I'm going to tell you as an audience member, don't contribute to scammers. Don't give people who are lying to you money. If they're giving you useless information, if they're wasting your time, then, you know, they're not any use to you. So if that's costing you money, just stop giving it to them. You know, me, I need it. Unfortunately, I'm being attacked by these wankers who scam people and lie about knowing about science when they don't. They pretend that they can debunk globe claims. They can't. You won't get globe claims debunked from Globebusters. That's a fact. They don't debunk them.
John, how do you get a far...
I was trying to get in there too. You heard me.
I stepped over Eli last time. Go ahead, Eli.
I just wanted to, like, it does it make sense to pull up the definition of a scammer? Like, because you're not selling a product. You're just trying to tell people what science is not. You're just exposing everyone that's using pseudoscience, and everyone who's also using a misunderstanding of science.
That's selling.
I'm trying to.
That is selling. You're just wrong. You just. You've never worked in sales.
Okay,
I can tell straight away you've never worked in sales. That is selling.
Yes, I have.
All right, John.
You're right. Fuck it.
John, refractive curvature. What makes you think they haven't already given us a formula for Earth spinning with a radial?
Well, I did it in radians to help them out.
You need an R value for that.
Oh yeah, I used their presupposed R value for it that they got from a flat plane, of course. You know, so like just want to help them out so they can go observe what they claim the Earth is doing underneath objects in an inertial frame.
Well, any evidence of the R value, given that you've already disclaimed that their R value for a non-spherical Earth, because if it's been measured from a flat plane, as you just described, that isn't an R value that I'm asking for. I'm asking for any evidence of an R value for an actual sphere surface that they think we're standing on. Any evidence of the R value? Earth radius.
Oh no, it's a flat plane. We measure it that way.
By the Lux one.
A follow-up question. We know that Andrew Thomas Young calculated refraction from a plane, then later, with geometric considerations, applied it to a globe with an R value. Now, you're saying that they got their R value from a plane. Can you go into how they did that, John?
Well, there's two ways that they do it. One is they take eye level and sea level, calculate the differential as you rise in altitude, and then apply that that arc of vision as the curvature of Earth. And then the second way is they take flat Earth elevation angle measurements to a celestial body known as Polaris to get a circle of, is it a circle equal altitude?
Yeah, circle of equal elevation, circle of equal altitude, same thing.
Yeah, and then they wrap that around a spherical surface. with
What's
the
that called?
transformative equation.
Anybody on the panel? That's just been described by John. So the circle of equal elevation or circle of equal altitude derived from Polaris. Anyone know what's that's called?
Equatorial plane.
The equator, right? That's what you've got. The outside edge of their presumed to be a spherical surface is their equator. Now, that's the circle that you would draw if you had your position at the GP of Polaris. It would be the outside edge of that GP position. That's all it is. That's what they call the equator. Doesn't mean there's not land beyond the equator. There is land beyond what you would see if you got to that edge point. That's where you'd stop seeing Polaris. There's still land beyond it. Oh, what's that you say? On the other side of a hemisphere, you're going to assume. Why would you assume that? Why would you assume that suddenly when you move past that point, you're going antipode from where you viewed Polaris from? You're not. That assumption is merely people's prerequisite begging the question that they've been instilled with from birth. That's all that is. You get to the equator and you can go past it. That's all that means.
The antipodal
is
belief is based on a flat plane as well. It's just instead of taking your celestial sphere and turning it as you move, it's
God damn it.
taking
I've just
that
realised
plane
something.
and flipping it upside down.
I've just realised something. That's part of their rhetoric. That's part of anti-flat Earth put into the mainstream with the disc pancake with a second Earth underneath. I've seen cartoons of men getting to the edge and then going underneath it. So they're like with the asking us where the edge is, right? Because their edge is the physical limitation called Earth curve we debunked in 2020. So they ask us where our edge is. We haven't got one. You've got one that's a useless proof of a sphere when pulled apart. Well, this is no different. Their disc pancake, right, is mirrored in the celestial sphere when you take the two different maps. One that's going to be your map for the equatorial plane from Polaris's point of view, and the other beyond, mapped underneath. But that's just two flat planes sandwiched on top of each other. That's nuts.
No, John, please tell us how you made your kitchen antipodal.
Shout out to Unitox Family for the super chat. Thank you very much. Sends us a clapperboard. Kurt?
Well, I only measured the hemisphere of my kitchen, right? Because I only took the angle measurement from one position. I would have to go and find a different set of circumstances on the antipodal position of my floor.
Well, hang on. What did you use to do the edge of your kitchen as the northern hemisphere? What did you do? Did you use your light in the ceiling? I mean, go through it again, please.
Oh, I didn't utilize an edge. I used an arbitrary point when at pretty much the end of the flat floor, and then an angle to the light, and then I assumed that everything around me was spherical, and I took that arc angle measurement to derive I guess it would be a nautical inch distance. And then I used a transformative equation to change it into a sphere.
So if you change it into a sphere by a transformative equation and all you see is your horizon, then by assumption, there's a southern hemisphere under you. So you did go antipodal.
So if the Earth is a sphere, and you're claiming, if you're an anti-flat earther, to measure it as a sphere, then why, after taking flat Earth measurements, would it be necessary to transform it into a sphere? If your orders are always followed, and Santiago wasn't to be touched, then why was it necessary to transfer Santiago off the base? Shout out to Unitox Femi, who says, where is the edge of atmosphere rotation? Ha ha ha.
The reason they use that transformative equation is because in order to get an elevation angle, you need a flat baseline. And if they just leave it there, they have to just show the disk with no bun underneath or above it. So in order to show a sphere, they have to say, all right, well, if this angle measurement and the GP of the sun and the observer, in this case, we use the sun, if we want to put that, we have to come up with a formula to put it on the arc of a protractor so that it's like on the surface of a curved Earth. And so now it comes spherical trigonometry. That's where that comes in. And of course, you need straight lines, but they somehow have trigonometry with curved lines. But the initial measurement is from a flat plane. And your question is, why do you have to have a transformative equation if it's already a sphere? Well, because it's not a sphere, and they have to use spherical trigonometry and Haversine to make it appear like you got it from the arc rather than the disk where it's originating from.
Well, let's ask the question. Any evidence that you can acquire an elevation angle measurement from a curved surface?
Well, that's the death of them because it's impossible. That's why it's over.
What about if it skims the curved surface?
I was about to say, can I draw a line from my eye to a tangent point and call that my reference to horizontal?
What tangent point would that be?
Well, that would be my presupposition that the horizon is a geometric obstruction.
But your assumption comes with a prerequisite of 7/6 of that radius value known as terrestrial refraction or standard refraction. Atmospheric refraction means that you'd never get to see that geometric limitation you're claiming. So no.
That's anti-flat Earth claims.
Do you like that? Like I used the anti-flat earther response to you.
Yeah, that's anti-flat Earth claims. That Al-Biruni wasn't accounting for refraction.
Al-Biruni measured the height of the mountain off a flat plane. In order to start that calculation, he had to first measure the height, and the height was derived from two triangles. As he moves closer, can someone tell me, does he get closer to the mountain for the second triangle, or does he back away? I suppose if he was going to go up it, he'd get closer. I'm going to stick with that.
Closer.
Yeah, we'll stick with that. He draws out one triangle, and then he draws out another triangle, and the difference between the two gives him the height, with a lot more complicated maths than I'm alluding to. But that's how he gets it. He needs two angles, both taken off a flat plane, for the triangles, to the height of the mountain, to get the difference.
Right, and if you could just get past the flat plane you needed to measure the height of the mountain, I could explain to you how it's a sphere.
Yeah, that checks out.
But Al-Biruni didn't get past it. He measured it. He measured it flat.
He also needs a zenith line at 90 degrees at the center of the mountain.
You're getting hung up on the flat plane, guys. See, that's the problem here.
For those of you who are new here, that's actually a rebuttal we got. So we put it to a globe believer when describing the elevation angle argument, and their response was literally that. That's almost verbatim. Don't get hung up on the flat plane we need. That's what we were told.
We also got, who's claiming the ground underneath the mountain is curving?
Yeah, that's another one. When it comes to the actual acquisition of measurements done from the surface you're standing on, they're done flat. When you put that to a glober, they will... Let's correct myself. When you put that to an anti-flat earther, they're more than willing to relinquish their initial positive claim, which is that Earth's a sphere. Who's claiming the surface underneath the mountain that Al-Biruni's measured a curve? Well, Al-Biruni is once he goes up it, but he's got to measure it flat first.
Well, let's not forget the hidden gem that's right here. The official story is from their side that Al-Biruni did this and got the radius of the Earth. Now, the official story is you can't see the geometric horizon because of atmosphere. But the official story says Al-Biruni didn't use any refraction corrections or even know refraction existed, but based on him, without any formulas, with a depression angle from the mountain, he got the R value. Today, they like to quote him as the father of R. But now they say, well, we can never see the geometric horizon that Al-Biruni saw because of atmosphere. Well, I beg the question. Is there no atmosphere the day Alberini was on the top of the mountain? How was he able to see it? I mean, the whole story falls apart.
Right. And further to that,
Nah, that's some nonsense.
Go on, Chocolate.
Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was say that's just some nonsense that the people that force themselves to have to defend this model, quote unquote, that's what they have to say. All the normies don't have to say any of that because they could just believe they're living on a magical spinning water ball and everything's cool. But the guys who defend it now have to say what they used to claim, that boats are going behind geometric physical obstruction. Now they got to say, oh, well, we never expected to see that. Can't see that because we have an atmosphere.
Well, we got Fight the Flat Earth saying he can't, his hand isn't where it is, and refraction affects everything. But Alberini didn't have that problem.
The second group that Chocolate just described are the group that we were identifying in the last couple of shows, right? So if you're Joe Normie, you don't look at what's on screen now and question where H came from. You don't do that. If it was presented to you, you just understand that people smarter than you had figured it out and got the radius, and you're on a sphere and they've got all the maths for it. It's all good, right, Chocolate? That's what you're describing? Well, when that person finds out that Earth's flat by some means, there's a good chance that they're going to want to know the same as they were given in this instance with this Alberini diagram on screen now, right? They want a replacement for it. That's not to say that they're going to go out and figure out a way of calculating the, I don't know, diameter of a flat disk that they've been told that it is for the sake of argument. They just want to be told. Now, as far as I am concerned, when you have a paradigm shift of such magnitude, you'll be vulnerable. And there is a genuine sort of concern from an empathetic standpoint in regards to the address that we've done and what we've discussed on the last 3 shows with our internal flat earth brethren not debunking the sphere, but moreover punting fantasies that they have no evidence for. So when you talk about people wanting to jump out of the frying pan and into the fire tent earlier in the show, this is exactly that. People want the new guru. They find themselves falling into a new cult. And it doesn't matter if that cult is the cult of Scientology or the cult of ether. You're just falling into a new cult because you're vulnerable. And why are you vulnerable? Because up until that point in your life, somebody else more smart than you figured it out for you and they told you how it was. Then somebody else even smarter than them told you it's how it wasn't, and then you needed it replacing. So you found next man to tell you how it was again. And then someone like us comes along and says, yeah, they're not telling you how it is. They're lying too. But that's, for us, that's hitting the buffers. That's where the line ends. Because at that point, you smack into the buffers and we go, no, there is no downward bias. There is no incoherent dielectric acceleration. There is no counter space. There is no gravity. There is no sky vacuum. Yeah, it's all lies. Here's how we prove to you that it's lies, demonstrably so. You go, well, what is the sky then? And I go, I don't know. But next man, over on Globebusters, they'll tell me what it is. They said it's counter space. It is. Here's how it is. No, it isn't. I've just explained to you how it wasn't counter space about 5 minutes ago, didn't I? Yeah, but you need to give me something to replace it with. No, we don't do that here. Sorry. Well, that's a disgrace. You need to be my new guru. Or if you're not going to be, I need to find someone. Yeah. Well, someone's always going to be out there to fill that void. If we weren't attacking the scammers that are Jaren and Bob and Globebusters crew in general for their ether counter space scam, the cult that they're developing because they know there's vulnerable people they can exploit out there, if we weren't doing that, or if it wasn't them, it would be someone else. There will always be vulnerable folk who have their paradigm changed and need a replacement. That's most of the questions we get from anti-flat earthers, right? So where's the ice wall? That in my mind says, okay, you're latching onto some old indoctrination so that you don't have to take the new paradigm shift. But now you've got questions about the new offering which you see as lacking. That would be a fake, false, flat earth paradigm presented with models and bullshit at the feast of nonsense for you to gobble down. Well, you're smart enough to know it's still a ball, aren't you? And you're curious enough to ask how something that you're not willing to go over to works. It's like, oh yeah, you might get that on most flat earth channels until you get here. And then you don't get offered it. You get asked a question in response. Why would you be asking me what's at the edge of the earth? What edge of the earth? I don't know there is an edge. You're making a lot of assumptions and asking me to justify them for things I haven't claimed. I know it's not a sphere edge at the horizon, because you're still under the misapprehension you're on a sphere, aren't you? Here's how you're not. If the Earth was a sphere radius 3959, every distance to that horizon blocking the sun or blocking boats could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Exactly as it says in your maths, where it has a horizon marked with an X claimed to be blocking things with a hidden value. Well, that hidden value can't be further than the obstruction that it's claimed to be in these maths. Here you go, check out this image. Instead of having your Earth curve blocking these two oil rigs, which we know the exact distance to, it's miles in the distance. How can it be a hill getting in the way if it's beyond the things the hill would block? I don't wake up one day and look out my window and the things that were previously blocked by a hill are in front of it with the hill off in the distance. That doesn't happen. That's what Earth curve's supposed to do according to these maths. It doesn't do that. Bye-bye Earth curve claim. Back to the original point, you now need to know what the edge of the dome is. I don't claim a dome. I don't claim anything like that. I don't know what the sky is. I told you once already, I don't know. I just know it's not a sphere. I know it's not a sky vacuum. Well, does that mean you've been left in an awkward and painful position where you're vulnerable and susceptible to somebody who will tell you what the sky is? They'll call it counter space. Okay, I'm sorry. All I can do further to that, now I know that's the case, is warn you. Beware. People will try and scam you with a new heaven. It won't be heaven, it won't be space. It'll be counter space. But it's just a new replacement for heaven. I mean, space. Or whatever it was you believed the sky was before you found out it wasn't that. Probably from us, the people who actually debunked the claims of what the sky is supposed to be. From all sides. But there we go, you're obviously vulnerable now, so if you desperately need to know what the sky is, go over there, Globusters will tell you, let's say it's counter space or some shit. Maybe give them money.
Like handing out teddy bears, right? People want a new teddy bear once the globe teddy bear has been taken away. They want, but I can't go to sleep without a teddy bear. So please give me a new one. What's the new teddy bear? That's how I always see it. That's what it sounds like to me. When people are like
the background of the background.
It's the background media. It's, call it heaven. It's the sky. It's, you know, it's counter space, man. If you need a new paradigm, I can send you in the direction of a multitude of people that want to be your new guru. I'm just not it. And that, in many instances, may disappoint people because they may just want answers. I already know it's not a sphere.
Background medium. What do you mean background medium? Who said that? What context is that in?
Outer space, mate. But with that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. Of course, a massive thank you to today's Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on either premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!
If somebody stabs you, tries to hurt you in all different ways in your livelihood, but I was constantly finding them innocent and trying to defend them. That's all. Maybe I'm seeing it wrong. I don't understand
why.
I
don't know why, Neil. I understand that, but Elijah has reasons why. He's friends with Sid also.
I don't think
that's the problem.
No, Neil. You were right in the context in which you came, and Elijah was right in the context which he came. So it all depends how you want to frame it. So if you listen to the 5-hour show and you see everything and hear everything that was displayed and audibly talked about, then your points are very strong. Elijah's context is a little different. Elijah's context has to do with how he got labeled with something in a similar way. And he's just saying, maybe this is what's really happening. And let's have that in mind as well. You're saying, no way, man. The whole show, the guy said this, the guy
Right.
said that.
Hold on, but 1 second before you go on. So I said something, and he came on and told me not to do that.
Well, the reason
So-
he did, hang
Okay.
on. No, but there's a reason for that.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. That
You
never
did. You
happened.
said don't do that.
Oh, here we go. Can I just finish?
Ask for more context.
He said you can argue the way you want, Neil, and he's going to do it the way he wants. That's what he said.
But I wasn't
New
arguing
Yorkers-
anything. I was just stating what was said.
I
wasn't
know.
putting
Well, I didn't
forth an
tell you.
argument.
I didn't tell you don't do. I didn't tell you don't do anything. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Don't lie.
Yeah, that's not true. So let's just let it rest.
You want me to
because-
go back and listen to it? I'll go back and listen to it. I don't care.
Oh, let
Okay,
it
Neil.
go.
Chill,
back
chill.
and
Let it
Neil.
go.
Go ahead, Ted.
No, I'm just saying, let it go. Everyone,
Let it
look,
go. Let it go. I let it go.
No,
I let
no,
it go.
but no.
Eli,
because-
you're my
because-
man,
because
Eli.
When I
Did I hear-
corrected with it, when I corrected with it in our private conversations, you know what he told me? Stop defending QE. And I had to tell him, just like I'm going to tell you, me calling out falsehood or elucidating the truth isn't me defending, well, I'm defending the truth. So it depends on what fucking side people are on. Don't
go
got
ahead.
shit to do
Okay,
with
so
me.
what I'm saying is then you're defending the indefensible because they're not about truth.
Go ahead. 10th took a whole new meaning, Nathan.
Sorry, I'm done. I'm done. Forget it. It's all right.
All right. Let's move on because this hamburger meat has turned to spam at this moment, and you don't want to see the next conversion of it. Let's go on with what actually is great about that 5-hour show. And Nathan, I think you ought to keep doing what you did that day with other shows, and especially when we do Neil deGrasse Tyson prints, so we don't have to play videos and violate anything, and just keep doing it, because what it is the 8 housekeeping questions with you and the panel being applied to false statements. And this is the best way to teach.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, going through where people aren't doing a great job of debating, fine.
Oh, it's powerful. I'm telling you, your channel is going to grow so big if you make that a daily occurrence. Because people, here's in sales and marketing, which you and I have a background in. People would say, can I go, excuse me, can I go on an appointment with you because you're closing 6, 7 out of 10 sales? What are you doing that I'm not doing? I said, yeah, come along with me. I'll say you're a trainee, but you can't talk. If you talk, this is the last time you're going with me. Other than, what's your name, how long, if they ask you that. So they'd go with me. And all they wanted to do was see what they said and what I said. What was the objection? How I overcame it. Hey, how come you didn't sell him? Because he didn't need it. Why am I going to sell something when the guy doesn't need it? But he likes me now, and he took 5 of my cards. He might refer me to a friend because he knows I'm a real deal. And then we go to the next one. Wow. When did you know how to ask the closing question? I go, did you see his and her head going up and down 10 times at the points I was making about the product? That was buying sign. So I said, okay, I got another appointment. This one's ready to close. I'll ask the closing question. What did they do? He says, they took out the checkbook and wrote a check. I said, yeah. So what have you learned? And they said, well, everything you teach us, you do. And I'm having trouble doing it. And I go, why are you having trouble doing it? He says, I'm afraid of rejection. I'm afraid just maybe if I say it, it's too early. I said, look, to get the instinct for closing, you do it by asking too early and too late until you figure it out. That's just something you got to go through. We all had to go through that. I've asked closing questions too early and I lost the sale. I asked it too late and I lost the sale, but I learned through it. So when people watch you do it and the panel comes in and gives side commentary, this is a university class that they should be paying for. And maybe you ought to do that one day, because this is a fantastic platform you got to teach how to debate falsehoods about our creation. I'm done.
And it is sales training, because that's what you're doing when you try and convince somebody. You're trying to sell them it. That's what you're doing.
You're always selling. Who's not selling?
Nathan, I'm still mad about that.
Say again?
That was good, Eli.
What did he say? I didn't hear him.
Yeah,
He says you insulted. You insulted him by saying he's not a salesman. Listen, everyone's a salesman. There isn't one human being who isn't selling something. I talk to people who say, I'm shy. I go, you're doing a poor job of selling me.
That's the supposition the government works under. Well, no, that is the supposition the government works under when they claim commerce is their domain, is that everyone is selling something.
By definition, if you're a human being and you're communicating, you're selling something. It may not be for an exchange for commerce or bartering or for money. You might be selling an opinion. You might be selling a belief system. You're always selling. I'm selling. Everyone's selling. It just depends how you go about it. Some people talk all the time and they never listen. Other people say one or two and then they listen and let the other guy just blurt everything out. Everyone's selling something all the time.
That's the problem. People don't realize that, and they don't realize they're being sold to. So if you go into a market, a supermarket, and your intention is to buy some apples, there's a good chance that you'll come out with some apples and some flowers and some chewing gum and a soft drink. Why is that? Well, it's because you've been marketed to when you didn't realize you were being marketed to. And the same applies to our arena. You go out looking for, I want to debunk the globe. So my objective is to find globe debunkings. So that's what you're in the market for. You're in the market for globe debunkings. Okie dokie. So you go out and you go, let's type in globe debunking into YouTube. Ah, globe busters. You go on, and within a few minutes, they're saying stuff that seems like they're dead against the globe. You definitely get that impression. You're like, right, if I listen long enough, I'm going to get some globe debunkings, the thing I was in the market for. But then you walk out after the show's finished and gone, check out my incoherent dielectric acceleration that I walked out of the supermarket with. And you go, okay, now, hang on a minute. I didn't walk into the supermarket to buy incoherent dielectric acceleration. I went in to get globe busting. Why have I got this? I didn't want to buy this. That's what happens.
Very good. That's a great analogy right there. I remember wanting to buy many things in my life, and this is after I became sales trainer and so forth. Because before I didn't know, I was probably just like him at points. And I'm sure we all have. And the guy says, look, I'm not here to sell you anything. I go, then why are you here? It's like the very thing.
I'm all about loyalty.
What's that got to do with this for a second? Neil, come on. Loyalty and
gotta be loyal to those that are fighting with you. Everybody's not a family. They don't want to be part of the family. And there is no community. That's my only point. And now you'll never hear another word out of me unless I have to say something.
Neil,
yeah, because I've been clear about it. I've been clear about it. I am a mercenary. Like those in fairy tale books that take up a sword and go from kingdom to kingdom. That is who I am. That is who Jesus was. Okay? So when I
beg to differ.
They're like a soul reaper, like Ichigo Kurosaki.
So Jesus didn't go across the land with his teachings. He didn't do that. He
when they stab you in the back, Eli, I'll be there for you.
He didn't go
Oh, God.
anywhere.
These
That's what
two,
that's-
these two today. I'm on a point, Neil. Look what you did with my point.
Sorry.
Eli, if it means anything, I'd love for you to be in my foxhole anytime, any day. You're fine. Got it?
No, because you broke up.
Thank you.
All right. So now that I shut both of them up, let me finish what I was trying to say. So
Yeah, but I got an answer for that. I'm
Oh.
just kidding.
stop. Go on. Find that button that says don't talk and push it 10 times. So when someone says, I'm not here to sell you something, that's the very thing they want to sell you. They want to pretend they're not this overly pushy salesman. I mean, that's when I hear that, like if you're walking into a car lot, Chocolate, have you ever walked into a car lot and the salesman's come around you like dandruff?
Like white on rice on a paper plate in the snow store.
Exactly. And so you just feel like, okay, this guy, poor guy, he's on his feet 10, 12 hours a day. He's got to make a commission. Of course, I'm here on the car lot. I should expect this. And here they come. Both sides have to be ready for it, right? And if he's got the car I want, I'm going to buy from him. That's a given. What am I doing in the car lot? I'm there to hopefully buy a car, but hopefully I did my homework and I'm going to say, well, this other dealer is $4,000 less on the sticker price. Hopefully I'm going to do that. And then I get my price. Now on the Flat Earth, as Nathan was explaining, we go to Flat Earth Debate Show. I'm here to find out how to defeat the globe. Or I'm here to find out what is Flat Earth debate about. Whatever reason I came, I'm here for that. And then I want to hear concise arguments that match that title of that show. And Nathan, with one simple statement, said as a narrative, Globe Busters is their name. Anything but that is being talked over there. You don't learn how to bust the globe over there. That's the problem. You go there to learn how to bust the globe, the apple, but you walk out with dielectric. What the heck? I didn't want an electric hybrid. I wanted that new Corvette.
I have one question, Tent. Do you have your Legos? Did you bring your Legos?
I don't wear those type of stockings. So what's your point?
Inside joke.
So by comparison,
I want to give Chocolate props for the Major Payne quote. That was awesome.
Choo choo.
so
I don't know. I brought my Legos.
are we the Ferrari of debate then? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Whatever the best car is, we are.
we're the mid-engine, Formula One, street legal, blow everyone out of the road show. I have a choice of shows I can go to. I've gone to them. Personally, this is just an endorsement. Nathan hasn't paid me. Nathan won't even give me a membership, my goodness sake. This is the only place that tackles it head on.
Brian's got a membership.
I like the car
Brian pays
analogies.
for
Let's
it.
stick with that. So we're a Ferrari or whatever's a high-powered sports car that's really well tuned and all that. But they're more like a Tesla. So Globebusters are more popular, more expensive, just more newer, whatever you want to call it. But once you've actually got one, buyer's remorse sets in real quick because it's actually a broken piece of crap that's badly designed and won't last very long.
Hold on. It's a Tesla, but it rides like Neil's car. Broken down piece of garbage.
I can't even imagine you said your car rides.
I just dropped it off at the mechanic. I had to do 20 miles an hour for 10 exits yesterday.
You know what they say? The car in front is a Toyota.
Shut up, Nathan.
Yeah, I like what Eli does, the way Eli does it. at times, like what Neil does, the way Neil does it, at the end of the day, we all know what we're doing.
Hold on.
And
Did I
yeah.
ever say anything about how Eli destroys the ballers? No. He's excellent.
And that
My
wasn't
issue
said
is
for
how
you.
he defends them.
I wasn't there for you to respond to. I just gave you a
Sorry.
positive statement. There are times if I'm in the bind, Eli doesn't match what I need. I'll call Neil. There's time I'm in the bind. Keep Neil away. I need a little civility for a while. I'm trying to get through this guy. I call Eli.
But mostly you call Eli.
That's how I heard it. Thanks, Ken.
Yeah, thanks, Dan.
Well, no,
No, he did not. Don't do that, Nathan.
I know what I'm
if you want-
doing.
if you want me to expound on it, I can. But it will praise Neil for when he's useful, and it will praise Eli when he's useful. That's all.
Point out
It's a
that Eli
compliment for each of
got
them.
really angry earlier and stated that he didn't tell people what to do. What did you want me to do again?
Are you trying to twist me? What are
Trying
you
to twist
to do?
Eli. Just for fun.
Oh, twist. All right. Well, I don't know. Since does he got Legos? I don't.
Jared asked if anybody had their Legos in the middle of
Third
a
time.
debate.
Oh,
He
I've
asked
got to
for Legos.
contextualise this now. Just after Eli's whole point. It's right, Eli, I sympathise with you. Right, you've got to give context, right? What you're talking about is Jaron suggesting that an example with Legos that details perspective be presented to a scientist that's claiming the physical geometric limitation to your view is an Earth curve horizon. Right. So roll out the Legos, let's show some perspective differences. No. Okay, let's critique this now you've got context for it as an audience member. What's the problem with that, you might say? Why wouldn't you present perspective? It's just perspective, isn't it? I've heard you say loads of times, this cow is close, that cow is far away. Yeah, that's true. When you're actually having to detail an effect because you've got a response or you've got a rebuttal that you're dealing with. Now, in this case, why would we say that's wrong to present perspective? When you as an audience member says, I'm nearly done, Neil. Can you pop yourself on mute, please?
Oh, I thought you were asking me a
Can you just
question.
pop yourself on mute, please? So why would you as an audience member be sat back thinking, why is he saying it's wrong to present perspective when someone claims the horizon's Earth curve? That seems perfectly reasonable. But you're getting very angry with Dave Weiss for doing it and saying he's wrong. Why? Well, let me explain. The positive claim, the thing on the table, is that the horizon is Earth curve. Now that claim comes from the globe side. Now, if there wasn't a globe claim at all about Earth curve being the horizon, you as an individual, or you as the wider audience if you're a flat earther, have no necessity to make any claim about the horizon. You're not going to be using it to prove it's flat. There are certain circumstances where you might be if you're using a sextant angle argument. But that's not what I'm talking about here, in case anybody wants to, there's me being hyper-specific. But the point I'm making here is that in that specific example, we're not trying to use it to prove the Earth is flat. The globers use the horizon to try and claim they're proving the Earth is a sphere. At that point, it's a reversal of the burden of proof if you start defending a claim that you offer up as an alternative. Doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. You could be correct in terms of how the perspective you describe matches what we see in an image. So what? All that matters is that the Western world think that boats go over Earth curve. That would be their description of the horizon. So that is all that needs to be addressed. Now, maybe after the fact, when you're all in agreement that it's definitely not Earth curve because you've demonstrated how that's not the case, maybe you get into a nice, friendly chit-chat with your opponent who now understands unequivocally it isn't Earth curve, as he's claiming or she's claiming. You might have a chat about what it might be. Yeah, frivolous folly that is discussing what the horizon might be, in the same way we can discuss why leaves are green. But if I'm not claiming leaves being green proves the Earth's a sphere, there's no necessity for me to start justifying why they're green. And likewise, if I'm not using the horizon to prove Earth's flat, there's no necessity for me to explain why the horizon does anything. There's only a necessity, if you're going to claim you're a debater of this subject in Flat Earth, to to debunk the globe's claim that it is a geometric limitation. That's all you've got to do. Not could do, that's the standard. First things first. Dave, Hibbler, Jaron, Whitsitt, anybody who debates this subject. The first priority is to debunk the primary claim being laid down. When you look at a university debate, there's a person with a postulation and a person in the opposition. Well, the person in the positive position will assert Earth's a sphere, Earth curve is the horizon. You don't say, no, the horizon is perspective. No. Debunk that claim first before you start laying down what you believe to be an effect they use to claim Earth curve. Just debunk their claim that it's Earth curve, and then you've got fair game, as far as I am concerned, to have a little chit-chat about what it might be, because it's mildly interesting now we know it's not Earth curve. So long as we all know, at that point that you talk about perspective, that it definitely is not Earth curve. Now, if you fail to do that, like Dave failed to do it, and Jaron failed to do it, and Whitsitt failed to do it, and Hibbler failed to do it, then you're going to have me on your back, telling you and showing an audience how you failed to do that. Then I will do it for you. And I'll be, like I am now, indignant with you for your failure. So we'll label them individually. Jaron Campanella of Jaronism YouTube channel unsubscribed today to this scammy con artist who claims I don't know what science is. You failed to debunk a claim that the horizon went behind an Earth curve edge. I have proof of your failure to do the basic task of debunking Earth as a sphere. You failed to do that, Jaron. Hibbler, you may make good documentaries, but you also failed to debunk the claim that Earth is a sphere with a sun moving behind a horizon. Whitsitt had a response to this. I'll repeat it now. Quote, "You can't just say that, man." End quote. That was his response to a man making the claim explicit after Dave Weiss, who also failed to debunk Earth, curve, horizons blocking the sun. He affirmed it with his opponent about 4 or 5 times. But all of these people failed. Say it one more time. Jaron is a failure in flat Earth. Demonstrably, factually so. All he offers is nonsense speculation. Crazy nonsense about whether or not people were born at a certain time and whether or not the stars aligned within 100 years of other events and coincidences. This shit won't help you debunk Earth as a sphere. Jaron can't debunk Earth as a sphere. When offered with a claim that Earth's a sphere, he did not debunk it. I did it for him. Okay? So now we're all clear what's going on. These people are failures. That's all you need to do if you're going to debate this subject publicly. Debunk the globe. That should seem obvious. And if I've got to point it out to people like Jaron, I'm going to do it with anger. Given how bloody long he's been in the subject and how many bloody audience members he's got to waste their time. We actually debunk the globe here. We can give you the tools to do it yourself if you pay enough attention. But Jaron doesn't. Neither does Bob. Neither does Whitsitt. What they are ether scam salesmen. If you want to go and buy globe debunkings from quote-unquote globe busters, you won't get that. You'll get sold their scam. Sod that. I've had enough. If you want to debunk the globe, come here. Tell your friends. Be confident. All right, you don't understand it? Okay, or more likely, I don't really understand it either. Go and check out Nathan Oakley's channel, because you will find out how the Earth is categorically not a sphere, provably not a sphere, and all claims of a sphere will be debunked when presented here. Unlike all other shows. That's what we do. We are exclusive in that, and we'll show from here forth, because Tent thinks it's a great idea, where our compadres fail. Because that's a useful teaching tool. Here's how you wasted your time watching this debate between a load of Muppets not debunking the globe. And in fact, their opponent debunking their nonsense fantasies about counter space and electromagnetic dielectric incoherent acceleration. Well, all of that crap got debunked by the Globe Believer, and they failed to debunk a single word he said. You wasted a lot of your time if you watched that debate and were hoping to get some sort of busting globes out of it, because you didn't. But what I did and what my panel did was take apart the claims that were presented to the people who failed to debunk them, and we debunked them. That's what's happening here. So tell your friends that they need to come here to get that from us. That's what we are selling, and you will get it if you come here.
Well said.
Supplemental statement. Don't try to sell all that nonsense, and then at the end hit them with the welcome to flat Earth. Like, come on, you ain't bust no globes. Don't welcome people to flat Earth. Get out of here with that. That's our shit.
Yeah,
It's even a diss. I mean, if you unsuccessfully deal with globers and then you say welcome to flat Earth, that's literally a diss against us.
Yeah, exactly. Another reason for my outrage. Like, if you're going to tell an audience that you're not watching at all, and then you start parroting off specific verbatim quotes that we use in victory after we've won. And as I pointed out last time, welcome to flat Earth is a specific saying. It doesn't just get said when we state a flat Earth proof, right? We don't just say Earth's a sphere because you can't get elevation angle measurements from a curved surface. You have to use a flat Earth surface. Welcome to flat Earth. That's not how it goes, right? It's not even that it's attached to a flat Earth proof, right? It's attached to getting somebody to, and I'll use Chocolate's word, snatch their own wig off.
Right.
So they
Like
tell
when they
you
say-
how flat it is, and you repeat back their declaration of the Earth's flatness to them, and then welcome them to flat Earth.
Right, like when they say, but the horizon isn't geometric, when they figure out it's not in the right spot.
Right.
That's the
Exactly,
moment.
Arwin. Nobody's claiming the horizon's geometric. Welcome to flat Earth. That's right. Nobody's claiming the horizon's Earth curve. Yeah. Welcome to flat Earth.
Quick
Or
question.
or when a guy talks about angle measurements at 90 degrees.
Boxers or whatever they are band through, right?
Again, I think Adam needs to be muted. Hold on.
Sorry, Dave. Quick question.
I was going to add a further point to context too, because Neil and Elijah were both speaking to two different kinds of people, right? Elijah was talking to the base of people who watch Globebusters, and Neil was talking to a different set of people, pretty much everyone outside of that group. And I think that was part of the point where the disagreement intersects, because it depends on who you're talking to and the context, how that phrase will be taken or statement.
Yeah, but sometimes I say things so Nathan could expound on it. I don't know.
No, you're just making chat. I'm not moaning at you, Neil. But by the same token, the people who aren't saying it because they just want to be nasty or point out flaws. They just want you to be contextualizing your statements better, so you're not caught out with Eli Three Sons or whatever they call him.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, though, is the only people that would be doing that to Neil are people who are already in the Globebusters camp.
Exactly.
A quick question.
Go ahead.
I'm just curious. I was waiting for the question about the distance to the sun. Why isn't the distance to the moon one of the questions?
It could be equally.
It could be used?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
so it's
just
not
saying.
being avoided for a reason then?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I could ask that tomorrow if you want me to. If you want me to ask any evidence of the distance to the moon, I'll ask that instead if you want.
Oh no,
Hey, good morning,
I was
brother.
just thinking.
You sound really similar to the guy we were listening to on that recording. But it's good to hear from you, man. Good to see you back again. Welcome.
Oh, thanks. I've also going to be a little bit out of my depth here, but it's just something that is a curiosity for me. And it has to do with science and scientism that QE did. And I was just looking at one question. Is there such a thing as a single photon that we could, is it been observed in nature?
What?
He's saying
You're trying to put a what is question into a how why method.
Whatever. A photon is a model.
No, I get his question. Let me just paraphrase his
is a
question.
model.
Let me just paraphrase his question because it's a reasonable question. Although you're right, John. He's saying, given that your examples would include things that are taking places on photographic plates or sensors, where you can describe a single photon impact, where would you say that a photon exists in nature? My answer would be, well, everywhere. That's what light is.
Okay, the reason I'm asking is because, when I hear things, it causes me to really start thinking. And I didn't realize the other day that I didn't even know the definition of boiling. And it's when I listened to what was going on around this whole journalism question about boiling that I actually had to go and look up this word. And it was sort of interesting because my wife and I were away at a place where there was a kettle. She says, turn on the kettle for me. I want to make some tea. I heard a sound coming out of the kettle after a minute. And she says, is the water boiling? I said, yes. And apparently I was wrong because it wasn't up to her standard of boiling. So I'm wondering if when it comes to this thing, I think you referred to it as a phase change that really defines the boiling. Is that right?
Yeah, yes and no. Context is everything.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so what you're asking is, in a colloquial sense, if you ask if the water is boiling, what do you mean?
Yes.
In a colloquial sense, you mean, is there a rolling boil at the top of the kettle about to turn the switch off or not? That's what she's asking.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But that's
yeah.
not the context when we discuss it. Here, we're talking in a scientific context. Everything has to be defined. It has to be rigorously defined, and you must be hyper-specific about what you are defining. So it's a very different context. In the same way, I've got a theory about why your wife asked that. Colloquially acceptable. I have got a theory about why she said it. Because in a colloquial context, you want to know if you're going to get tea soon. Right? That's my theory. Right? I'm nearly done. Please pop yourself on mute while people are talking, please. It just makes it inaudible to the audience if you're muttering through me. Or anybody else. Like me, I do it all the time.
Yes.
I'm not guilty as well. But anyway, pop yourself on mute. Yeah, so colloquially, theory is an acceptable word that we use all the time. If you have an idea about something, we might call it having a theory if you've developed it somewhat. But in the context of science, theory means something very different. It means the result of scientific experimentation. It's what you develop after you have a result from a hypothesis, which is a scientific prediction, aka an experiment. That's what you form afterwards, a theory. So that would be although it's redundant, a scientific theory. It would already be a scientific theory because you're contextualizing it within science. But it doesn't mean that there's often two definitions for things. When we talk about boiling water here, because I've been called a scammer, and I give an example of how you can define a scientific experiment with establishing the cause of why water boils, then you have to be hyper-specific with everything. When you're asking whether or not your tea's coming soon, you just want to know if there's little bubbles at the top or not.
Okay, so be hyper-specific. The scientific definition for boiling.
Adam, you did it last time. Do you want to do it?
When the vapor pressure of the liquid is equal to the air pressure above the surface of the liquid.
One more time.
And the vapor pressure of the liquid during its phase change is equal to that of the air pressure above it.
Wow.
I think it's a saturation temperature, isn't it?
Okay, the reason I'm asking, you can't just say phase change then.
No, because lots of stuff's phase changing all the time. That's not the definition. That's you're describing physically what's happening at the point of boiling when you say phase change. But when I read that document that was the original citation from Jaron, that's the point they're trying to do in history. How are we going to be specific, hyper specific? So it's not your wife telling you that that's not a proper boil yet. What defines it? And that's what comes out of that, and that's what QE's been saying all along. Is it that's the point when those two pressures are equal? That's when you've got boiling.
Words have meaning. Choose your words carefully. The whole discussion today between Eli and Neil was about just that.
Okay, so because I'm going to make one more quick connection because the reason as to why I'm asking, I believe it was Nathan who said once that he could have a drop of water in his hand and over time it would evaporate from his hand.
Right.
That to sorry?
Yeah, that's
that to me. I'm sorry?
No, it's all right. You carry on. No, hold on. Carry on with your context. Go ahead.
Am I wrong in defining that as a phase change?
Yeah, it'd have to change. That's correct.
But that water could not be defined as boiling.
It wasn't.
Okay,
it wouldn't be.
so
No.
Because the phase change isn't boiling in this case.
But essentially, it's doing the same thing that the water in the kettle is doing.
No, sir.
I'm sorry?
No, it isn't.
It's
not.
phase changing. If that's your claim, but
yes,
we're not boiling. Boiling's a specific point where those two things. If you're talking about the loss of volume of liquid water as it phase changes in Nathan's hand, then the mechanism for that, okay, we're still requiring heat to get to that phase change point, but we're not. What's not happening there is that this effect is happening within the medium. This effect happens at molecular level with individual molecules sharing their spare energy so that one of the molecules can attain sufficient latent heat of vaporization to phase change and reduce the overall volume, leave the volume. Make sense?
Right. It's slow evaporation on the surface, not through the entire body.
Okay, and honestly, thank you for your patience with me because I've only did like up to grade 12, and sometimes the science goes over my head. I'm just okay. I'm going to tell you what happened this morning. I picked up my cup to make my coffee. It was cold. The kettle was steaming. So before I poured the water into my cup, I held it over the spout of the kettle. And the steam was all that was hitting the cold cup. But then the water started draining out. Phase change. No?
Yep. Sublimation.
Yeah, hold on. What's your question, though? Yes, but what's your question?
Was the steam hitting that cold cup a phase change?
Yeah.
Yes.
When it turned back into water, it changed phase from steam to liquid.
Right. So the cold can cause a phase change in water.
It's all temperature
Isn't it
based.
condensation?
No. Cold doesn't exist.
I'm sorry?
Cold doesn't cause no. Cold doesn't exist. Cold, it doesn't cause anything. For the phase change to be induced, you've removed heat energy.
Adam Meakin, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. Okay.
The Adam
I'm gonna
Meakin.
have to give. Okay. Now I'm gonna tell you where this all comes together. Okay. Professor Dave made what I thought was a bit of a laughable statement. But I thought, wait a minute, maybe, these guys, we can't just call them complete idiots because they're not.
Can we not?
And I was just wondering, sorry, he said that a drop of water takes a certain shape. Then he blew that up to accepting why water can stick on the outside of a globe.
You just answered your question. That's a completely idiotic statement.
It's a non sequitur.
Two things: the air pressure and the intermolecular bonding within the water. Nothing to do. A drop of water will never be bigger than a drop. It can't be bigger than a drop. It can only be that size. You won't get big, huge drops of water. They only come to a certain size.
It's surface tension, right? And the surface tension doesn't scale up. It's only on the small scale that actually happens.
What's sad about that is that...
Yeah, we don't even...
Hold on one sec. What's sad about that is that argument is like equivalent to an argument for 5-year-olds, because we've heard far more advanced versions of that argument dealing with the meniscus layer. You're all familiar with that, right? I'm sure you are.
I would have to look it up.
That's what I'm saying. It's just, I didn't expect you to know what that term meant, but it's related to this, but just on a more advanced level. It's still crap, but it's just pathetic that he's saying, well, if drop of water, Earth is a sphere. Yeah, it's pretty pathetic.
That's priceless.
Yeah,
well, Nathan.
Yo, somebody's got to let me in, bro. Like
the guy in Discord that might preclude that, but go ahead, Eli, and then whoever it was from Discord, go ahead.
No, please, I'm
not you, Humble H. Someone else was trying to get a word in. Go ahead, Eli.
Yeah, it's me.
I think that what is your name, Eli?
Nathan asked who was calling out.
Oh, God,
shut up.
Jesus.
Hello.
Eli then yourself.
Talking.
Okay, thank you, Arwen. Generally shady. Yes, we'll get to you after Eli. Thank you. Go ahead, Eli.
So, I think it was Brian. Somebody said about. I think it should be highlighted the air pressure and surface tension and all of that. Because they're trying to get you to accept that you can have water inside of a vacuum or air holding to a rock with water around it and air around it in a vacuum. You can't have gas pressure adjacent to a vacuum. Neither can that be the case with water. Or even if it's a secondary layer within the air that's not pressurized. Listen, none of it is it's all going to, the air pressure, the air is going to just go in all directions, and the water is going to evaporate into the gas and do the very same thing. I don't even have to talk about raindrops and no, that's not, in a vacuum, it's not possible.
Indeed.
Right, it immediately evaporates.
Arwen. Yeah, we'll need gas pressure for that. Yeah, go ahead, Generally Shady.
Nathan.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why don't you? It's just a question, mate. Why won't you debate anyone?
Debate anyone? Got an open door debate show.
It's just you continue to hide from debates, but I'm
Say it again.
just saying why
Second time, guys from G Plus, please.
Mate?
Guys from G Plus, thank you. Try once more. I run a public open door debate show.
Yes, in which you mute and block everyone. We
Except
can't
you,
even
though,
ask
who's
questions.
talking
Guys
right
in
now.
G Plus, second time's a charm.
Could you please go to
another channel where you don't have the mute button and have a debate with someone. That would be really cool.
How much will you pay me?
I'm not paying a shit.
This is a commercial channel. I run an open door debate show for anybody who wants to challenge me or present their views on the nature of Earth to come in and do just that for my financial benefit. If you have a desire to debate me, you can do that. You can come in through the open door and have the public platform to debate me and challenge what I say. That's what I offer. Now, if you want special, if you want to talk straight through me, like this guy seems to think he can do, then I have control of my show to stop him doing that. That's correct. Yes, I can stop you doing that on my show. If you want special circumstances to talk to me and you don't want to offer me any benefit for doing that, then I'm not interested. If you want to pay, I haven't finished. I haven't finished.
I've just offered you $10,000.
I haven't finished. If you want to pay me to do that, which you've already explained you don't want to do, then I have no desire to do that.
I just offered you $10,000.
I have no desire to do that if you don't want to pay me. I do this for commercial reasons. I do it to pay and feed my family and pay bills. If you want me to chew up my time... I've got phone calls coming in. Excuse me.
The fuck up.
Did you just offer him 10 grand?
He ain't gonna pay up no 10 grand.
Are you going to pay 10 grand?
Yeah, you're gonna have to make a deposit first.
Yeah, exactly, Owen. Put your money where your mouth is.
I'll put it in escrow. I will put my money where my mouth is.
Okay, so maybe you should do that before you put the drugs where your mouth is.
Okay, guys, 5 of you talking at once. Hello. You can debate me now if you want to debate anybody. You can debate me now.
I said I'll put my money where my mouth is.
$10,000.
Please, Brian. Please. Third fucking attempt. Guy, you're here.
Why won't you listen when I'm offering you money?
How much are you offering me?
10 grand.
Okay, my PayPal information's below the video. I'll wait for it to arrive.
No, I don't pay you for...
Well, then why are you telling me you'll pay me, you stupid moron? Don't tell me you'll pay me 10 grand, then tell me you won't pay me. If you want to pay me 10 grand to do something, I'll negotiate what I'll do for the money, and then you can give it me. It's that simple.
I'm not paying you for nothing, Nathan. I'm paying you to give me the answers I require.
What if I don't have them?
And if you run from that, then that's fine. And we can see how weak
I understand. Your terms are, I give you answers.
Take on the challenge.
I understand. Your terms are, you give me 10 grand, I give you answers. Correct? Okay, give me 10 grand. Go.
I'm not giving you 10 grand.
Well, then why are you telling me that you're giving me 10 grand? You're a liar. You're suggesting that you'll give me 10 grand for answers. I'll say, okay, give it me then.
And stop being funny.
What?
I'm offering you money.
I heard what you offered. Then I said, give it me then. Okay, I accept. Give me 10 grand. I'll give you your answers.
I'm not giving you 10 grand.
So you're not going to give me money. You're offering it me, but you are not going to give it me. So you're a lying shit, deceptive piece of shit that's going to lie about giving people money, offer it them, but not give it them. Yeah, that's why I don't want to interact with people like you. The scumbags that want my time for free. They want me to go over to their channel because they have special requirements. When I offer an open door to them. Yeah, those people I have no desire for. Because they'll offer me 10 grand and then say they're not going to give me any money.
Keep talking over me, Nathan.
It's my show! You understand that, stupid idiot? The guy who's offering 10 grand and then telling me you're not going to give it me? I will point out to my audience that this man is a scumbag. Like a con artist. The kind of person that says, I'll offer you 10 grand if you come to my service centre for your windows. Right? That's what he's doing. Offering up money that he's not going to give me. And then when I say, okay, give it me, he says, I'm not going to give you money. Right? But he thinks it's reasonable for him to talk incessantly on my show. No, you're a prick.
You're a retard. Get the fuck out of here, troll.
He wants the answer
running
first,
away,
Nathan,
Nathan.
then he'll pay you.
Keep running, bitch.
I'm not running from anything, you stupid moron. I'm saying I'll give you your answers. You've offered me 10 grand for them. But you're not actually willing to give me anything. You are a con man. So what are you telling me I'm running for? I'm sat here talking to you as you tie up your end of the mic, thinking that
10
what?
grand or not? You want 10 grand or not?
Yeah, okay, give it me.
You can barely speak English.
Okay,
Just
yeah, I
an
do.
idiot
Do you want 10 grand or
Yeah,
not?
third time's a
Mate?
charm. Yes, please, give it me. PayPal link's in the info box below the video.
Right. And you have to accept the challenge.
So you're negotiating terms for the 10 grand.
Well, of course.
Okay. And what your
I'm not
terms
giving
are.
you fucking 10 grand free, am I?
No shit.
You dumb
What do you
fuck.
want for your 10 grand?
I want you to answer some questions.
Yeah, I got that bit and I agreed.
Right.
Right.
Neutral channel. Neutral channel.
Wherever you like.
Away from your mute button.
No worries.
All right?
Yes.
Yeah. Deposit first.
Shut up, Arwin.
Right.
Okay.
We will now have, since you've agreed, Nathan, we will now have a debate on Toon or FTP channel.
Of course. As soon as I see that 10 grand.
I will put it in escrow, mate. No problem.
No, you'll put it in my bank account.
Sorry?
No, you'll put it in my bank account. You will pay me to go on Toon's channel. That's what you'll do. You won't put it in some other account that isn't mine that I haven't got access to. No, definitely not. No, this isn't the terms that I'm negotiating. If you want me to do that, I want 10 grand. If you give it me, I will do it.
Only if you make the...
Only if I get 10 grand, that's right, you stupid moron. You offered me 10 grand and I want it. If you're going to get me doing the thing you're going to pay me 10 grand for, I'll want the 10 grand.
You answer the questions.
Yeah, I'll answer the questions on a neutral channel. I mean, Toon's channel. And he can do what he likes. He can mute me as much as he wants. He can talk through every rebuttal I offer when I annihilate him. No worries. But I want the 10 grand in my bank account. Is that not clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very high-pitched. Yes, so when I get it, I'll do it. Simple. I have got a PayPal link below each video. Put 10 grand in, I'll go on Toons. Not in escrow. Not in a Caribbean account, Mr. Scammer. Not in a Swiss bank account that I'll have to be James Bond to get hold of. In my bank. When I get it, I will go there.
You're not even accepting the challenge.
I accept. I, Nathan Oakley, do solemnly declare, when 10 grand is in my bank, I will go to McToon's and answer the questions posed to me.
Ouch.
Okay, let's go this way then.
Let's just put 10 grand in my bank. That's all you need to do now. I am not interested in anything further to that because I'm not on Toons answering the questions here. I'll be answering them for 10 grand in my bank account.
10 grand?
Yeah, in my bank.
Account. In
This is going to be another half hour of whining.
Sorry, in an open account? So what, one that's open to other people that's not me to pay my bills with? No, definitely not. Seems like I'm being told there's a Caribbean account with 10 grand? Maybe I just need to send in my credit card information to get that money that's really mine but held in an escrow account? No. Stupid moron. Con artist. Scammer. Yo, Globe Scammer. Why are you trying to scam me?
You're not taking a challenge.
Sorry, I am taking the challenge, but for 10 grand that goes into my bank account.
You want money in your bank account?
Yeah, I do. That's correct. Shocking, isn't it? This is a commercial channel where you could be debating me now, but you're not. You're telling me about how you'll scam me by putting bank details elsewhere with money in it. No, mate, no. You just have to pay me.
You're a scared little boy.
No, I'm not scared. You're here now while Arwin or whoever it is from G Plus rumpuses this conversation. I'm not in any way scared of you. I've agreed to your terms, other than the bit where it goes into a Caribbean bank account I haven't got access to.
At all. You made your fucking own, you dumb cunt.
Why are you swearing at me? You've not made any Globe arguments. You've not put down anything that's worthwhile. I don't know why G Plus is interrupting now again for the 7th time when I've asked them not to, but they are. I mean, I don't know why any of this is happening. You've not done anything to need to swear at me. You're offering me money. I just need to actually have access to it if you want me to do what you want me to do.
Fucking take a challenge. I'm offering you a challenge.
Yeah, I accepted it.
No.
Yes, I did. I do solemnly declare. Did anybody else not hear that?
I heard it.
Yeah, I definitely accepted the challenge. But for 10 grand in my bank account, not in a Caribbean scammer account?
In escrow, bro.
That's not my bank. My bank isn't escrow.
Right, well...
Yeah, right, so I don't be doing the thing you're demanding for 10 grand I will never see. Stupid dick. Scammer. Yeah, on the phone with your Caribbean scam because there's a 10 million pound in escrow. No, you just have to give me the money you're suggesting. Did you think it would fantasize me? But when you said 10 grand, you stupid scammer.
Can't fucking even accept a challenge.
I accept for 10 grand in my bank, not for 10 grand I will never see. Is that not clear?
Run. You won't accept the challenge.
I have accepted, but for money I actually get and use to spend on my family and feeding them, not 10 grand that you'll go, ha ha ha, I'm not going to let you have access because you didn't do X, Y, and Z.
In an account, Nathan. I said I would put 10 grand in the account.
My account, not the account. My account. That's my terms. If you don't want my terms, fuck off.
You've got nothing, Nathan.
Fuck off. If you don't want my terms, fuck off.
I'm not putting 10 grand...
Well, then fuck off.
When you haven't...
You're not putting 10 grand in my account. Then fuck off.
You just want money. You just want money.
Yes, I do just want money, you stupid buffoon. Owen, can you shut the fuck up? Yes, that is correct, you stupid moron. I do this for money. That's right, I make a living from this. Saying I'm going to dangle money in an account you'll never see, and then saying all you want is money, what the money you're offering... Yeah, that's right, that's how people pay bills, idiot. Oh, what, I should just want the scam money. The pretend money, the money in escrow that I'll never get. I should want that. Not real money that I can spend. No, I shouldn't want that. That's being mercenary, that's just me wanting money. Yet the money you're dangling, you stupid dick. Yet you're just a scammer. Hello? Indian scam call centre, we've got 10 million lira for you. Yeah, you haven't got anything for me. You're not offering anything. If you were, you'd negotiate terms reasonably, and then you'd pay me and expect me to fulfill the terms and sue me if I didn't. That's what contractual obligations mean. You contract with me to do something, you pay me to do it. Then I do it.
I said... I would pay. I will put money in escrow.
I don't give a shit. I will put £50 million in a Swiss bank account if you'll suck my dick and give me good eye contact. Okay? Will you do it? Do you agree?
Credibility. No nothing. No nothing.
I'm done with you.
You are a fucking
You're an idiot.
want to be, and all you do is talk big, and you can't back anything up.
If the Earth was a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, then every distance to horizon measurement could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. That measurement has come from Globe Earth claims in their Globe Earth maths. And I can show unequivocally that the horizon is not Earth curve. That's what I can do. Now, while I'm doing it, what you can do is talk through every single word of my globe annihilation. And so can McToon. McToon could talk through every last word of that globe annihilation just like you're doing, couldn't he? That's what he could do. And it would give his audience some joy that the flat earthers getting shut down, hopefully for free, with a tempting dangle of 10 grand in a Swiss bank account I'll never see. Yeah? Meanwhile, when a fundy comes here and tells me I've got nothing to back up my bravado, I lay out the black swan argument in no uncertain terms, while this wanker disturbs discord indefinitely, because that's all he's achieving, while I tell you, the audience, the people who actually pay my bills, thank you so much to all of you who smashed the super chat, pay me on PayPal, join as a member, join as a patron. You are the man and woman. You're the people that matter. This guy dangling his 10 grand while he waffles through me and tells me I've got nothing to back what I say. Nah, Earth's got mathematical geometric limitations that we can debunk. We debunked them in 2020. That's what I've got. Now, if I was on McToons right now, you wouldn't be hearing this as an audience member. What you would be hearing is this. But it would be McToon's voice instead of this arsehole's voice. That's what it would be. McToon's voice straight over the top of mine, so no one could hear the proof of a globe being debunked. That's what you'd hear.
Step out, Nathan.
That's what happened to me on McToons. I didn't get to say shit.
Go back.
I want to hear John. Go ahead, John. He's saying McToon's neutral platform. Let's hear all about it, given that you've been there.
I went to that neutral platform, and Ruhif was allowed 25 minutes undisturbed, and I was allowed less than 2 sentences without interruption. So yeah, tell us about this neutral platform you got planned.
Yeah, here, of course, I'm being criticised for being able to exercise control over my own show, so that I can stop people like this guy who I knew when I opened the line that halfway through my sentence he would start talking straight through the middle of me. And especially good when I'm detailing to an audience how I must retain control of my show, so that this guy can't take it over. After saying to my audience that I've got no proof of what I say, I can then shut him up, as I've just done because he interrupted the middle of my sentence on my show, and disseminate a globe Earth debunking in the form of the Black Swan. That's what you get from him. Straight through the top of me detailing that I've got Black Swan to debunk the globe. He, in the background, on mute, was going...
Keep talking.
I will, it's my show. Of course, if we were on McToons right now, I wouldn't be able to, would I? And that would give you great satisfaction that when I tried to say if Earth was a sphere radius 3959 miles, then every distance to horizon could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, you'd be really, really pleased if McToon did what you're doing now. And I had no way of stopping it. Right? You'd be really pleased about that. Here, where I make revenue from disseminating the globe destruction, I do get to actually disseminate that to an audience without MC Toon just talking straight through after 2 sentences, as he did to John, on his neutral platform. And you're trying to do now. All you're trying to do is disturb this show by talking incessantly.
You run and hide.
We heard the first time.
Knows it.
We heard that. We already heard that.
So pathetic.
There is no way you will step onto a debate platform.
If you want to see me on a different debate platform, I recently went to Charles' Flat Earth Math. It's in the playlists. Charles also muted me when I started asking him for evidence of R. It was claimed to be a neutral platform by Charles. And when I asked him for R, like this guy, he's talking straight through the middle of me pointing out in contravention to his claim that I've never left this platform. I did recently. I went to Charles, the channel's Flat Earth Math. Unlike the name suggests, he's definitely not a flat earther. He's definitely our opponent, and he's definitely not neutral, in spite of counting himself as neutral. But I have left this platform. This guy's wrong, and all he's doing as I'm correcting his error is talking constantly through the top of me. He thinks it's going to get through, and literally moaned that I've got a way of stopping that from happening as an opener. I want you to go somewhere you haven't got a mute button. What, so that you or McToon could stop me exercising my rebuttal to their claims after 25 straight minutes of them? Yeah, I'd rather just make my revenue here than listen to you scammers trying to disturb the flow of information to the audience I have, who do actually pay me. No, my friend, no, I'll never be on McToon's. But if you pay me 10 grand, I will. Yeah, then I'll go, for sure. Not in escrow, in my bank.
Yabba, it's all...
Yabba. That's the last chance. Kick him out. Whoever's in Discord, kick him out, please. All he's doing is literally saying yabba through the top of me so that nobody in Discord can hear either. Unreasonable. Piss off. Get lost. Oh, we do love having Discord back, don't we?
Thanks, man.
We love having Discord back.
Well, I will point out that in commerce, you pay when you want somebody to do something, right? Now, if he was wanting to talk terms of the deposit, he never mentioned that. He talked about a separate account that you would not have access to. That sounded like a scam.
It was a scam. That's what we're surrounded by, scammers. Because these cheap bastards can't afford me and want me, they try and con me into their time for free. It's pathetic. I mean, it really is sad.
Can I?
Anyway, with that, I'm going to say another massive, huge, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you in either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering Streams for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, putting 10 grand in my PayPal bank, and all that good stuff. Up in Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.